Thank y'all so much for coming on to Real Talk with Lady Hale and guess it's going to be an exciting show tonight. I can't wait, but still remember, we're still a family show that we can discuss things and keep them in order. I have some fabulous, fabulous, fabulous educated young black men. I love that, y'all. I love that. So we said that all our brothers are in prison. No, because I have a whole room full of them, and I'm so excited tonight. We're going to have some conversation. We're going to do some controversial things, and we're just going to talk. If you have any questions, you want to call in. The number is 281-318-8650. 281-318-8650. The traffic is very heavy here, but I'm still waiting on people. But I have Mr. Elvonte in the house. But first of all, I just want to tell some people.
Elvonte. I'm sorry.
What is your name?
Elvonte.
Elvonte. All right, Elvonte.
I was butchering his name.
And I just came right behind you and fished it up too. First of all, I want to just say thank you to the people. Everybody know Josh and I and Jessica are caring for a baby right now because the mom needs our help. And first of all, I want to thank you, Josh, for going out over and beyond for doing things. We didn't even have to ask Josh. He just went and did it and sent me pictures. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Thank you so much for giving from your heart. And Miss Jessica Jaja, I know you have your own kids. Her son is in ICU, and she had another one that was rushed to the emergency room. We want to lift you up and keep praying for you and let you know the baby is okay. And I want to go ahead and thank Miss Jeanette Thibodeau in the Acres home. She's running for state representative. I called her and told her I needed some things because we had a baby. She didn't hesitate. I didn't have to make an appointment. I didn't have to do anything. Miss Jeanette Thibodeau came through.
Mr.
She
Elvonte,
gave me
are you listening?
a whole van full of
we need supplies.
Diapers, everything we needed for the baby. We got it done. And I want to shout out to her pastor, you're welcome, Jaja. Pastor Decker with Greenhouse International. He heard about the baby. And let me show y'all what he did, because sometimes talk is cheap. He gave me two $100 bills for the baby. Look here, right here. Two $100 bills.
Amen.
Right here.
I knew he was
No
a good
questions
man.
asked, just take care of the baby. Two $100 bills here. So I would get the other things that the baby need, and they said whatever he needs, they're here. So I want to thank Greenhouse International Church with Pastor Decker for going over and beyond and helping us with this baby. And I want to thank Miss Jeanette Thibodeau for going over and beyond and having a heart for helping people. How many people can you know, hey Latasha, how many people you know, you just walk in there and they put $200 in your hand, especially from a church. They want you to fill out papers, know your history and all of this here. But because they saw a need, that's what they did. And I want to say thank you, Pastor Decker and the Greenhouse International Church. Yes, I know, Jessica. That's why I say the Bible says you have not because you ask not. I went out for the community. I asked them because everybody know what I do for the community. I don't charge. I don't ask anybody for anything. So people know if I ask for something, it's a need. And not only that, I've had in the community, me and Josh work together. They know if Josh and I ask for something and we do something, we do what we say we're going to do. That's what we do. We do exactly what we say we're going to do. So I want to thank everybody. I'll be running all day tomorrow, picking up donations, and people are helping us, and I'm just overwhelmed by all the generosity and all that everybody is helping me, Josh and Jessica, with. So by the time we get through, this baby will be taken care of for the whole year. I mean, everything that he can possibly ask for, he will have it. And I thank you, God, for blessing us. And thank Pastor Decker for putting that $200 in my hand. So we're still waiting on some, I guess. They just text me. A lot of them are still in traffic. But I'll go ahead and start with this young man right. Now, why did I stop the video? Lord have mercy. Okay. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I don't know what happened. I was trying to turn it on to him and end up hitting the wrong button. Okay, this young man, this your first time on my show. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
It's really the second time on your show. But the first
on my
time,
show?
Yeah, the second time.
it's
He
my
was
second
here
time.
with when you were with Anton.
I
But
wasn't
that-
here that day. Remember,
yeah.
I was out of town.
Yeah.
I was out of town.
Yeah.
My father-in-law had passed away. I wasn't here. Not well. This
Yeah.
is the first time you're on the show with me.
Yes.
Correct.
But you have been here, but not with me. But that's okay. Can you reintroduce yourself to my guests? and
Well, my
everybody
name's
listen?
Elvonte Patton.
Elvonte.
Yes,
Got
Elvonte. Patton like the general.
it. Yes, sir.
I'm currently a doctoral candidate.
Yes,
I
we
finished
are.
in May
Oh no, I ain't that
2020.
close. I ain't that close.
Um,
I'm
and-
behind you though.
I'm an educator, and I'm also running for state rep, 131.
What area is that? All these state reps. I don't even. What area is that?
That's close. It's like on the Beltway. It runs across the Beltway. It's running from Stafford to Pasadena.
Oh, you on that end. Okay. I see. Okay, well, first of all, I just want to ask you, what made you decide to run for state rep?
So I've been in the community really hard. And
Yes, sir.
one thing I like to do is they say, numbers don't lie. So I
Yes.
chose to look at the numbers, see where there's a need, and I understood that 65% of the constituents in my community
Yes.
are under the age of 40.
Oh, okay.
So I don't feel like the current representation that we have in our district really represents what the district looks like.
Okay.
So I felt like, why not give our district someone to sit at the table that looks like them and pretty much from the same cloth as them.
Okay. And let me ask you, what are some of the needs that you saw that needed to be enhanced or corrected or just were not addressed?
Number one, education is an issue
Okay.
in my district. My
Okay.
district is 40% African American, 43% Hispanic, so that lets you know that majority of this district is of color.
Yes.
So education is a high priority in
Yes.
this district.
Yes.
Environmental justice is a high priority, so you talk about climate change.
Yes.
Let's talk about health,
Yes.
and then also criminal justice reform is a
Yes.
big issue in this district.
Yes.
And finally, technology.
Yes. And I totally agree with you on the technology because I'm in the process of opening a charter school. And a lady watches my lives and she's on there. She worked for the federal government. And when she called me, I told her the problem that we were having. I'm basically like in Acres Home 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, 5th Ward. And I'm on the alumni board at Phyllis Wheatley High School.
Okay.
And I was just, I don't know, amazed, flabbergasted. I don't know what the word is I can use, that there's no technology room or resource. Say for instance, if I want to fill out an scholarship application, or if I want to apply for college, where could I go? Is there a computer I can use or a laptop that I may use so I can just go ahead and, research the schools? Because most of them, I notice now, you can only apply online.
Right.
So, and if you don't have the technology and the tools that you need, how can I be successful? Especially when you go to college, you have to have some of this already done. Like, you have to be used to using technology.
Correct.
And I'm just not understanding how we're in almost 2020 and there are still schools that are not up to date with technology.
So I wanted to take it a little deeper than that.
Okay.
When I think about technology, yes, I
Mhm.
believe every school should have technology.
Yes,
in their
sir.
schools.
Yes, sir.
However, I do believe that almost, I would say a great portion, I don't know the percentage of people that actually use cell phones,
Yes.
use computers,
Yes.
but that data, we're not getting anything from it.
Okay.
These companies are gaining everything from us, but we're not gaining anything from them.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm
Oh, I
thinking
see that. I see
would
what
like
you're
to
saying.
Put some laws in place to where your intellectual property can be protected, and these
Oh,
companies can no
okay.
longer, share your data and make money off of you without you making money off of them.
So are you talking about, say for instance, when I was going out of town, I was looking up for hotel. Then all of a sudden I started getting emails, I started getting banners. I'm like, I just started looking for hotels. So that is true. That happened to me a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, who is tracking me? It's like you said, I had just put in just to see hotel availability. And then next thing you know, people are calling or whatever. So I totally agree with you on that one.
Right.
I
so
agree.
That's one big thing I would like to tackle in the
Yes.
next session is
Yes.
making sure that, you know, if we're going to be on these cell phones and people
Yes.
going to benefit from us, why can't we benefit from them? And that's one thing
Yes.
I feel like is necessary. Not only that, but
Yes.
we need to be protected. You know, we're not protected from technology right now.
I
And
agree.
I don't believe any state rep that's not under 50 years old is really going to try to protect us from the data usage.
Well, I haven't heard anyone that's tackling that issue.
Well,
That I haven't heard it besides you. I'm just saying I
Right.
haven't heard anybody say anything about that, and which is so true, because is that what you were talking about, where a lot of people say their data and all their information is getting stolen. Like I heard a man was on CNN and he was saying his data was stolen through the AT&T, and he was trying to sue them because that's where the breach came from.
Right.
And
So-
that's true.
It's a lot of. I think it's a lot of data that's out there that's
Yes.
not protected. That
Mhm.
laws need to
Mhm.
begin to step up and protect it.
So they're actually selling our information, or
Of course they are. You know, that's how you was able to think something and it shows.
yes,
up on your phone.
yes, you're right,
Yeah, so-
right. So just a rough estimate. I know it's probably up in the billions. How much do you think that those companies actually make off of us?
I don't
Just
know
a rough
about you.
estimate.
I would believe that it's billions for sure.
That's what I'm
because
saying. I know it have to be billions. We talking about AT&T, Spread, and
Amazon.
Verizon. Yeah, so I know it's up in the billions.
Yeah, of course.
But none of us will see
Facebook.
any of that. Oh yeah, Facebook is good for that
Right.
too. So I'm assuming it's just no statistical data, just me saying that, just looking at the companies. I'm believing that it would be in the billions.
I agree with you on that.
It
one.
has to be
Down
in
there.
the billions, yes. And none of that money is coming back into our communities. None of that money is coming back to any of our communities.
Right. So, you know, I just believe that's something that we have to begin to look into. We need to
Yes.
actually pay attention to it because right now we're using it thinking that it's free.
Yes, yes,
But now
yes.
it's really not free because your intellectual property is basically being taken from you
Yes.
and being spent somewhere else.
Right. And you think that's why identity theft is so common and so easily now? Because our data is spread everywhere?
No, I think we got too comfortable with technology and we don't
Oh,
take
okay.
precautions. I don't think it's because we use it. I just don't think we don't read the fine prints when they send us.
Yes.
Hey, read this.
Yes.
Do you agree? We agree before you read it. So,
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But I'm the type of person, I'm going to sit there and read it.
so
I
sometimes
do.
I think a lot of people give their data away and don't even realize that they gave the data away when they agreed to the terms.
I agree with that. Yeah, I can see where you're going for that. And what is another issue on your platform that that's dear to your heart?
Education.
Education. Why is it so? I'm an educator myself, so I already know where you're going. But we have listeners all over the United States. So I want to ask you about, what is your take on the pipeline to prison?
I think that it's a real tough issue to
Okay, hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Can y'all hear the young man talk? I know y'all say y'all can hear me. Okay, just go closer
Okay.
to the mic. That's
Okay,
it.
there we go.
There you go. Yes.
So, yes, I do believe that there's a prison to school pipeline.
Yes.
However, I believe that when we ended slavery, they had to find a political way to
Yes.
make sure people enslaved they can still get that those resources from people without paying the full price for it.
Yes.
So I believe that right now that's the big fight with actually funding schools, because right now you don't want that. You know, that's not something they're looking for. So they're trying to keep the beds filled. In
Yes,
prison.
yes,
so
yes,
the only way
yes.
to do that is to continue to punish the kids that's going to lead them in that direction.
Correct, and I see that, but I'm seeing more of our black and brown kids, and I see, this is my personal opinion, that there seems to be a double standard. You know, if both children were in a fight or whatever, why would one get maybe just a talking to, and the other one would get suspended? You know, it's not. Well, it's never, to me, it's never been an even playing field.
I think it just depends on the school district, and it
Right.
depends on the school.
Yes,
That's just
yes.
my personal opinion.
Right.
I believe that, truth be told, I believe if we go to the African American schools,
Yes.
predominantly African American,
Yes.
I think those kids are being more.
Yes, and see, those are
targeted.
the schools that are urban schools. So
Right.
when I was in other schools at the other way, I did not see that the same harshness, just the basic little simple thing. Everything you do, you want to call the police on these kids.
Right.
I taught elementary, pre-K, and first grade. I'm trying to understand, why are you calling the police on a 7 or 8 year old? I'm just not understanding that. You know, it's just.
I can't answer that question.
I answered it. That's why I'm in the process of starting my own school.
Right.
That's why I'm doing that. So I understand that education. So what do you want to do? You want to reform education? You want to bring the what do you personally want to do once you win? See, I'm speaking it into existence.
Hello, thank you. So, to me,
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to just wipe education completely from the foundation and
And
everything
start
and
over.
start over.
I
And the
agree.
reason why I say that is because we're not preparing kids for the future.
No, we're not.
We're preparing them for the past. Because as I'm sitting in the classroom, I'm not teaching them anything that's going to advance them for the future.
You're right. You're right.
This STAR test is everything about the past. Nothing is about the future. So my thing is, we are continuously raising kids. We're not raising adults. And my
Yes.
thing is, why is it that in America, when a kid turns 18, they automatically become adult?
Yes.
But we never raised them to understand what it is to be an adult. So what I think about is credit.
Yes.
We don't teach that in school.
No, we don't.
We don't teach financial literacy.
No, we
We don't
don't.
teach things that's going to make the difference in this kid's life when they turn 18.
Right.
So it's like you're supposed to already know this.
But nobody never told me.
There you go. And I think that's one big factor that we definitely need to tackle in education is actually
Yes.
preparing adults.
Yeah, and another thing that I see with some of my older kids, and I tell them when you go fill out a job application or whatever, they're going to ask you about a felony, and they like, felony, nobody has sat down and told them what the felony is. And like I said, if you have been charged with a felony within the last 10 years, so if you have not been charged with the last 10 years, don't put on there that you have a felony. You know, you don't have to disclose that. So
Right.
that's something I talk with them also about. Now, if you're still on paper now, that's a different story. But the last 10 years, it's no.
Right.
But they tell them, and I've heard them say, well, yeah, you still have to put that on there. You have to still divulge that. No, you do not. 10 years and you're not on paper and that felony is gone, then you shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
So once I put on there, I have a felony, guess what? I'm not going to get that job.
That's right.
And that's it. But if you don't know and nobody has talked to you about that. And another thing that I found out, because most of my kids was in Acres Home 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, and 5th Ward, no one has ever talked to them about college. I'm like, you're right down the street from Texas Southern University, where I graduated from. So you telling me all those times you walked and played up and down that school, all you think is that there's somewhere for you to go and play? That's an educational institution.
Right.
And somebody should plant a seed in your head. Even though you're playing down these corridors, there's a way for you to get out.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do that. But nobody has to tell them, because I used to tell them when I was working on my master's, I told them I was going. They said, well, what you doing, Miss Hale? I said, I'm going to grad school. How you teaching us and you ain't graduated yet? I'm like, really?
Right.
Those said that they had no clue of what I was talking about. They thought I was getting ready to graduate from Westfield or Decatur High School, because I've said I'm in graduate school.
Right.
So that these are conversations that I think we need to be having also, with our kids, to better educate our kids. And like you say, financial literacy. Not only for the kids, we should have something for the adults too, because I was listening to one of my good friends, Mark Davenport, this morning, and he was saying about, that's one thing we don't do, is teach our family and our kids financial literacy. So we're going to spend all this money on Christmas buying all of these toys that the children may or may not play with them anywhere. So if I spend $300, why not go and set up an educational fund? Go and set up something. And the people were calling in. They did not agree with that. But you're going to go and use the credit card to go ahead and charge up this, and it's going to take you a whole year to pay for it with the interest and understanding. They're just not understanding that. And I got it. Well, I've been got it a long time ago. You know, and he said you should have 7 streams of income. You know, you shouldn't just sit there waiting paycheck to paycheck. So what else are you doing?
Right.
So that's I agree with that. That is an issue that we do have to tackle and teach the kids. So that's why at our school we're going to have financial literacy and entrepreneurship, because I want to give them other options, because I know all the kids may not be able to go to college, but you can have your own business, you can go to the military. I'm just trying to prepare you and try to keep you out of prison.
Right.
That's the main thing. One of those, just to keep you out of prison. So we're trying to do that, and I do applaud you. And I always try to show my kids that there are some Afro-American men that are not in gangs, that are not fellas. These men are educated young men, and these are the men that you should be looking at. I know, but when we're in our community, we don't see a lot of you. You know,
Right.
we just don't. You know, I'm just saying, we see the gang bangers and all these other. And I was telling my kids, I'm like, if y'all can sell these drugs, you know, all you're doing is mathematics, because y'all know how much is going in this bag, how much is this for. That's math.
Right.
And they never did see it as that way. So I just try to teach and train our kids and just try to give them some kind of way to succeed, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
I agree. Totally.
Nobody's going to do it. So I really, really appreciate everything you're doing. And I just had somebody that's come in and show up late, as usual. He don't need no introduction. Do you? He talking about he do. Okay, somebody named Anton that showed up. That's your introduction.
Uh-oh.
Is that all I get?
That's it.
All right. What's going on, brother? Hey!
What's up?
In house. Hey, man.
He take that.
You know what? Some of my favorite people. I see a baby.
That's me and Josh. We had a baby.
My baby.
Me and Josh had a baby.
I like babies.
You're not buying that one either, huh?
Give me that,
Remember we said that last night? We were telling me and Josh had a baby. They like, really? That ain't gonna work.
So, I am glad that Brother Elvonte is here, because I want to tell you guys something. So we just got done with the runoff election, right?
Yes.
And so,
We're gonna go over your prediction. You said that what's that man like Busby was gonna win.
I did that on
Well,
purpose, just
why?
to make some people's skin crawl.
No, I think also like what happened was that he released the anti-LGBT platform. Like he said that he released that campaign, and then that Trump and text messages.
Yes.
Those two like dug him in the grave that he would have like never wanted.
But can you see spending millions of dollars and what we could have did for the homeless, the AIDS funding, homelessness,
right?
getting jobs. It was so much we could have did with that particular money. And to me, it would seem like it was just wasted, you know, because that money could have been really put to use. And then after then, he just got on his private jet, and that's it.
Yep.
Skedaddle.
I didn't say all that.
He said he
He
needed
just
a
got on the
vacation.
private jet. I would too, after losing them millions of dollars. I would go somewhere and never be seen
not
again.
about that money. He's
I
got
know.
money beyond money. His
I
money
mean,
has money.
When,
And what you-
when
as
you
long as
buy
he-
a tank and you park it in front of his house in River
Yes.
Oaks, you got money.
Yes,
Yeah.
just
Well,
the
no,
park
that's
of
just somebody that really doesn't care. Don't mistake, being wealthy for being a fool.
Right.
Because he
But
that's
it's a tax
foolery.
write-off
That's
for him.
foolery.
Well, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you just said that money could have went towards helping feed. Let's go beyond feeding, because
Yes.
feeding is a temporary solution.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk
Housing.
about long term. $14 million. We could have rehabbed one of those abandoned or
Hotels
empty
downtown.
hotels, anywhere,
Yes.
and ultimately had
Made
a
a-
nice transitional living facility.
Yes.
For people that live, amongst our community in the streets and
Yes,
in
I
little wooded
agree.
areas.
I agree.
Drive past some of those little wooded areas near downtown, and you'll see a ton of tents
Yes.
in there. And how do you feel about that? How does that?
I
make
was
you
just
feel?
brokenhearted because I've been down there and I've seen ladies, single ladies with babies this side 2-month old and have their little children, and I can just I just didn't know, out at night in the elements and not being able to know how I would feed my kids, and they're out and I'm by myself to protect these kids. I'm like, it's just heartbroken. I know there are fathers out there too, but I'm just seeing the single mothers. Because I saw one on Facebook. It was on that day. It was pouring down, raining, and somebody was filming her. She had a newborn baby. She had just got out of the hospital. She had like a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and I think like a 7-year-old, and she needed help. And she needed help, and they put out a Facebook blast, and everybody was going down there to help her. I'm just saying, you just get released from the hospital, and you have a brand new baby, and you have to go on the street in your tent.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just overwhelming for me.
So, but who's at fault for this? I pose that question to you too, Elvonte. Like,
no, I don't.
Can you blame that?
No, I don't blame
on
them.
The mayor?
No, I don't blame that on the mayor. Everybody have financial situations
so
and
my
everything.
question is to everybody in this room:
Mm-hmm.
who ultimately is the cause of the level of homelessness in the city of Houston?
The mayor.
Huh?
I don't think it's
The mayor.
I don't
It
want
has to stop at the mayor. He is.
Well, we have the homeless coalition. What are they doing?
He is the CEO of Houston, and so the buck stops at him. So he runs the city council. He runs the city council. So
What about the homeless coalition?
It still runs by the mayor, doesn't it? Like the mayor's like, oh, we want to make sure we end homelessness, just like Austin has. Austin's mayor has dedicated time and money to eliminate the homeless. They set up like little homeless
Tiny homes.
Tiny homes. They could approve that something like this in Houston, but they are not approving that.
So basically, since we're talking about this, where's our money going?
Well,
Let's see what
I
he
see
say.
the wheels turning, because I know you when your eyes start squinting.
Oh,
The wheels are turning, and I'm waiting. What is it
You're
that
right,
you
Erica.
think?
You're right.
Who is to blame? And then,
I'm still not gonna
then
say
let's
Mel
go down.
Turner.
And how do we
I don't
change that?
First and foremost, I believe that if I'm going to blame anyone, I have to blame myself because I don't feel like I'm doing enough to make the difference. But when I think about homelessness, I don't just think about a person's financial situation. I think about their mental health. And I
yes.
think a lot of times we're missing the mark because we're looking at a situation that we don't truly understand.
True.
And we have to get on the ground level of truly understanding why each individual happens to be homeless.
Yes.
Because if I can give you a home and you still have a mental illness, I did you no justice.
That's true. I agree.
So it's beyond
Hey,
just a
Miss Sheila.
place to live. I need to
Hey,
truly
William.
understand the whole dynamics of the situation so I can truly tackle it so I don't have to face it again within the next 2 to 3 years or
Right.
6 months for that matter,
Yes.
So for me, we have to realize that some people are going in and out of jail
Yes.
as homeless because they want the mental health.
Yes.
They need help.
I agree.
And they
I
understand
agree.
they need help. So
Or the meals in, the place to sleep
That's
that's
right,
not
Miss
a
Sheila.
Right.
concrete sidewalk or
so for me,
In the elements.
the blame starts with me before I can blame anyone else. I must blame myself because I feel like some of the programs it's sitting right here in this room.
Yes.
It's not sitting out there. So
I agree.
that's why I will put the blame on myself before I put it on anyone else.
so. And I can appreciate that because one of the things I always tell people is that before you start pointing fingers,
Yes. Yes.
take a look at your actions and your inactions, for that matter, to determine who's really at fault. And what I would say, my answer to that would be the citizens of this amazing city they carry a lot of that weight because while we're going to our nice homes and
Yeah.
open that refrigerator up and there's all kind of good little goodies in there, you got
That's good.
warm bed and all that stuff like that, and you go to work every day, you
Yeah.
come home. It doesn't necessarily take your money.
Yes.
Your mouth, the words that come out of it are the best investment you can ever put towards helping to end homelessness by holding politicians accountable.
But I agree with you, but sometimes I believe you have to be in a situation to face it, to understand it. Like, for me, I had lost my job, and I was close to seeing a pink slip on my door. And I believe that God told me, you need to go out there and see what's going on. And that was his way of putting me in the streets. And I began to water
right,
the
Monroe.
earth by sitting out there and having conversations. People know I'm quick to go give water, food, whatever I can to the homeless,
Right.
because I was once close to being where they are, and I'm well educated. I probably have more degrees than the average African American male. But however, that's not to brag, but that's just to say that degrees ain't gonna stop you from being homeless.
Because I
if
met a
you're
lot
not
of
doing
them
what you're
educated. I
supposed
met
to
a
do.
couple of doctors out there.
So, that's a part of it. Until you there and you're facing it and you're up against the wall like they are, it's hard to say. So that's why now I don't judge them for
Nope.
doing drugs. First thing most people say, I'm not giving to anyone that's going to use my money
But you
to
don't know
drugs.
why.
But my thing is, we take medicine all the time to
Yes,
cope.
we do.
So that's their medicine to cope.
Yep.
Now, we
Right.
might not agree with the type of medicine they're using, but that's their medicine to cope with their situation.
Situation. I agree.
Yes.
My thing is, how many people have we given to that's going to their homes and doing the same drugs as those people that's doing
Okay.
But they
in their
get it
homes?
from the
Yes.
doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thing is,
Real talk.
you have to begin to truly get into the situation to understand it, and most of us are too afraid to step into that world because we really don't want to understand it.
True. I agree.
I agree. It's it's one of those situations where, like you said, you have to put yourself in those shoes, and in that moment,
Yes.
I've been there. Or you know, your money changes, and you're like, uh oh. I mean, you go if you think about this. If you go from $150,000 a year job, or whatnot, and then all of a sudden you got to go out and get that $15 an hour job.
It's gonna make a big difference.
Your apartment rent, car note, and all the things you amass
It's
making
not
that
enough.
higher salary, that $15 is not.
It's not gonna make
cover.
it.
Right.
And when you have to pick and choose which things you keep, because for me, it's always going to be a roof over your head and a car to get around
Get-
to at
yes,
least try to get
yes.
some more money in. But when even that falters in
Yes,
you
I
and you
agree
lose
with
the
you.
car, now
Yes.
you really can't go get money
No.
because you have transportation and infrastructure in that city, which here we don't necessarily have.
Right.
You
Who's
know,
to blame? The mayor.
I-
Like,
I-
at the
it's
end
not
of the
just
day,
enough for me.
I mean,
the mayor should
Sorry.
own some of it.
No. I believe that at the end of the day, you have to turn around and look at yourself in the mirror. And my thing is, a lot of the situations you have to realize it goes back to politics. You say the Mayor Sylvester Turner just did 4 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But we turned around and voted him
To
right
back
back
in.
So my question is, are you planning to see something different? That's up to something that we have to look at in the mirror and say, we chose to vote
To
back
bring him
in
back. Right.
the mayor. So my thing is, while we're sitting here, we're wondering why our kids are constantly being incarcerated. Have we looked at the finance reports of our state reps that's voting on these laws to say, hey, did you take money from private prisons? Are we doing that? Because
I
my thing
agree.
is, if you're a state rep and you took money from a private prison and 90%, well, let's just say 50% of your community has been in and out of the prison system. Hey, we need to go look in the
at
mirror
that. Yeah,
and
we
say,
need to
who's
look.
putting us in jail? Is the law enforcement doing it?
Or is
Or
it
is
my
our
own
state reps
people?
doing it?
Well, you got to think about this. Not only are some of them taking money from them, but they've invested in
Correct.
Core Civic and Geo Group.
Yes.
Because remember, Core Civic used to be Corrections Corporation of America.
Yes,
and
yes,
they
yes,
got hit with
yes.
several lawsuits, and then all of a sudden they decided
Changed
to change
their
the
name.
name to Core Civic. And if you look
Hey,
at a
Lord.
lot of U.S. state, United States representatives and congressmen,
Yes.
they own a lot of stock
In those prisons, a
private
lot of
prisons.
money
You
in
have
that.
state reps in Houston that got donations
Yes.
from,
Oh.
I'm not going to say, I want you to do your homework.
I know.
Because what I don't want to do is, since I'm running, I'm not running
Don't
a
say it. No,
campaign
no,
on
no, no.
anything negative. I'm
Yes.
all
A positive.
Because when I win, I want you to look back and say, not one time
Has
did
he been
mention
negative?
anything negative about anyone.
And I totally agree with you. There's a lot of money in the private prison sector. And I was surprised by me doing everything I do in the community that I was approached and had a bank that was going to fully finance me to be able to own my own private prison. So I'm like, no, I don't care how many millions of dollars you say I can actually make. I'm just not going to sell out my kids. I call them all my kids. I'm just not going to do it. It's not, everybody know, because I never did hide that situation. I let everybody know. So I'm in the process of opening a charter school. So you would rather fund me to open up a prison instead of a school. I have a problem with that. And it was one of the major banks here. So I'm just like, if they see, my thing was, you see me doing stuff in the community, you see, I have access to a lot of Afro-American kids, so what you want me to do, sell out my own I call them my family, because I'm like, I just had to get up and walk away from the table. I just don't believe, I'm just not going to do it. And you're right, when they showed me the spreadsheet, how much the money was, I was like, no, I can't do it.
But just think about it.
I know, but that I couldn't go to.
Think about what?
They're selling out for pennies, though.
I can't sell out. I'm sorry.
You remember the judge that recently got sentenced because he was sending juveniles into the system and making money off of it?
Yes.
This is real.
It's real.
When you talk about the school to prison pipeline, you got to start now going. Is the superintendent?
The judges and the school
involved in that.
Yes.
The captain or the chief of police in the ISD.
Yes. All yes to the
money. All this money. You think about all the people involved. Let's talk about it. So once they go to court, the juvenile justice system, you got to get an attorney, right?
Yes.
You want to make sure your kid doesn't go to those.
But I believe that we have to begin to educate the parents, because number one, the first thing I think about is, as a teacher, I'm not putting paperwork on no student that's of color.
I don't do it either. I won't do it either.
That's the first thing they're going to tell you. Write them up.
Write them up.
Write them up.
We need a paper trail.
So
we need give them a referral.
For everything. Give you a referral for chewing gum. Give you a referral for talking back. Give you a referral for this. No.
So I deal with it personally before I send them to an office. Like, you're going to have to really do something just dramatic before I would choose to put paper in your life, so I won't do it. Yeah,
if it's something dramatic, like I had one boy, he stabbed a teacher, so I didn't have a choice. But other than that, anything else, nobody will never know unless the children and they ask me. It's over with. I didn't handle it. So I had two other guests to come in, and y'all missed it. I introduced you to. I am just so happy. I'm in a 6 o'clock. We've been here. And then you called me and you told me you're going to be here for 5:45.
Man, I fell asleep.
And as sleepy as I was running and been running all day with a baby. And I'm still here. That's all right. But y'all know my friend. I call him my friend. And do you know what people found out you were coming on this show? They were blowing up my phone. Why you having him on your show? You know you don't like charter school. I said, wait a minute. Let me stop this right now. When I first decided I was going to open a charter school, Mr. Monroe was the first person that I called. I'm like, don't be bashing me, don't do that. You know what he told me? You doing stuff in the community. I'm coming after them that's not doing anything for our kids, that's hurting our kids, that's not doing something. He said, you okay? I'm like, okay, well, I'm good with that, Mr. Monroe.
You don't like everybody.
I know. I've never had a problem with him. I've never have had a problem with him. I've never had. We haven't been controversial. To me, I can only speak on my experience with you.
I don't really care if people like me. I mean, I don't wake up in the morning trying to figure out how I'm going to conduct my day if somebody likes me.
You just do it.
Nah, I'm not in the business of being liked. I'm in the business of making money.
Come on now.
So, if you don't like me, man, get in line and stretch around the corner.
Come on now.
I really don't care.
That's how I feel, but I just don't see it like that.
And as far as charter school, I'm going to say this about charter school.
And we've had this conversation.
A parent has to do what's best for
their
child.
Children, yes.
And if you think that somebody going to keep sending their kid to a corrupt entity,
yes, sir,
that ain't educating them, all they doing is stealing the money.
Come on now.
What you expect?
Yes, sir.
Charter schools serve a purpose. Those that want to send their kids to a charter, send them to a charter.
Yes, sir.
If you're mad because I'm saying that, I don't care.
I told y'all better get ready because Mr. Monroe don't play.
That's, what people, I hear that all the time. People, charter schools are ruining education. They're taking money, stealing money from the public school system. I said, well, here's the deal. I'm a former union rep. And I always used to tell people that the managers would be like, man, you unions, you guys are tearing us apart and you're making it hard for people to, companies to do business. I said, well, if you did good business,
Come
There'll
on
be
now.
no need for
Charter
unions.
schools are not destroying public education. It's the actual school districts in the state of Texas that's destroying public education. So charter schools are public schools too.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, bottom line, man, all the foolishness that goes on in HISD, come on, if you really, really don't want to send your kid there, you're not going to send them there.
That's true. I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying?
I agree.
You're just not going to send them there. And I'm not mad at you if you don't.
Yes.
You know,
I agree.
I'm not finna, you know, the union is big on, well, we shouldn't support charters. Man, you in bed with the school district, man.
All right now.
You making money off the teachers, man.
Come on
the more
now.
teachers you get to join your union, the
That's
more money you gonna
you
make.
get. That's right.
So bottom line is, you don't care nothing about these kids. Okay, then you got these so-called activists out here. Well, first of all, don't tell me nothing about public school if you can't send your kid to the school in your neighborhood
Come
around
on
your
now.
house.
That's right.
Most
you got
of
it
them
right. They don't. You're right.
Most of them don't. So, I mean, if you work in a charter, God bless you, you got it.
Yes.
If your kid go to a charter, God bless you, your kid go to a decent school.
Yes.
Because HISD ain't decent, Fort Bend ain't decent, Katy ain't decent, so what's our other option?
Yeah. And most of us can't afford to send them to private school. We don't have that kind of money. And like you and I talked, I'm doing the work already before I even got the charter. So it's not like I'm waiting on the
Why you
money
can't
to
have
do
a
the
charter?
work. Right. I'm already
See,
doing the
I
work.
ain't gonna curse. I ain't gonna curse. I promise you I ain't gonna
You're
curse.
right. And
Okay,
that's
but I'll
why-
say this here.
Yes.
Why is it a problem when the African American wants
Yes.
a charter,
Come on now.
but the Anglo can have charters every day?
All right now. And that's what I'm facing right now.
Well, I think
That's
that
what
one
I'm
of the
facing.
biggest problems is that we've been trained how to think
Not me.
historically.
I missed
Not-
that class.
I
well,
missed
some
it
of us
too.
have got our awakening a long time ago,
I
right?
been got mine.
And it's based upon situations that you've endured or things that have happened to you,
Right, right.
that help to wake you up because you're like, wait, hold up,
Wait a minute, this ain't right.
Because now when people say things to me, like slick things, you know, you
Yeah, on
back
the
in the day
slide.
you didn't realize it. How
Oh,
slick
I
it was. You
realize
just
it
laugh
now.
it off and be like, well, now it's like.
Not now.
Let's
It
step
ain't
outside.
happening.
Say, bro, let's step
Let's be
outside.
I see you in the
honest. Let's
parking
be
lot.
honest. Ain't nobody saying nothing slick to you except the bougie Negro.
Come on now.
Ain't nobody saying nothing
That's
slick
them.
to you
Yep.
unless it's the ones that want to take the picture with the mayor and the city.
Yeah, they running up there. Oh,
The
knock
cat
you
was
down.
Why you gonna bring up them people?
I'm just telling the truth.
They'll
Ain't
knock
nobody
you
saying
down.
nothing except the bougie Negro.
All right now.
Ain't
I'm just telling. I don't want. You know, I know you running for state rep, so this.
Well, this no conversation now for you.
No. I'm sitting back and I'm listening, and what I realize is I took an internship in Europe, and I was able to study international policy
Yes.
from being at one of the countries that's number 7 in the world.
Yes.
So being able to see education from a different standpoint is totally different. And I believe us as Americans, we don't really travel to solve our problems and truly understand our problems from a deeper standpoint. We get stuck in a rut of what we see here. And we stay in the same little bitty box and say what we
I
feel like
agree.
should change in this little box, when in the outside world, there's things that's totally different. Because my thing is, as a child development major, the first thing we talk about is a theorist.
Yes.
And however, we don't even research the theorists from where they come from. Most of the theorists that we study in education comes from Europe.
Yes.
But
You're right.
for some odd reason, we don't have any of the foundations of what Europe has. So my thing is, when I think about it, I'm thinking about it from why is over there in Europe they rank 6, 7, first in the nation, in the world for education, but the United States falls well below that. So my thing is, I think we have to begin to think outside of what our current situations are. So that's my
Yes.
first thinking.
I agree.
Man, education in the United States, the reason we so far behind,
Yes, sir.
they not trying to educate these people stealing money, man.
So it's about the
These people
almighty
stealing money,
dollar.
man. From the state level all the way down to the local level, these people in the business are making money. They're not in the business of educating kids. I just said,
They are in the business of educating kids. They're just not in the business of educating black kids. Let's really
Oh,
be
well,
honest
I
about
That's
that.
the key word.
That's the key
So,
word.
They're
You
in
got the key
business.
word.
Yeah,
They're in
let's
business. It's became a business.
let's really just be honest about it. We're just in the business of not educating black kids. So
Yes.
that's where your issue is, because
Right,
they're not having the same conversation in River Oaks.
Yes,
So
you're right.
let's talk about it. So if we're gonna be real about it, be real about it, and that's the thing. So yes,
Yes.
it is definitely a business, but it's a business of keeping black people poor. That's what this business of education really is. It's the business of keeping blacks poor.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems is that when you look at it, how people always bring this up, so I'm more than happy to engage on this. That they talk about how I'm not from here, so I don't
Right.
understand Texas, and I said, common sense ain't so common. Here's the deal. Outside of here, many states have taken on, hey, look, we understand that many of the children in black and brown communities are not destined for college. Great. Let's start to engage with them on a skilled worker level
Yes.
to prepare them to at least gain a skilled profession where they can make, let's talk about mechanics, auto mechanics,
They make a lot
ESC
of
certified auto mechanics make very good money.
you're talking about the class that they took out to black school.
Right. Wood
But not
shop
only-
and all of those
you know what
home
everybody
economics.
did? They said, hey, after our research, we saw that cosmetology wasn't worth really putting in because people don't really, you can't
You
consider
do
it a
make a
career.
lot.
And I went, oh.
Put your weave in, see how
Show
much
me a
money they
black
make.
woman that do her own hair.
Come on now.
So, we're all, there's
Yes.
there's men and women in here that go to the barber shop or to the beauty salon.
Yes.
Getting your hair cut, the shop I go to now, thank you to my barber because he has not raised his prices.
Yes.
But they're $25 for an adult male's head for just a regular haircut. $25. And if you get your hair cut every week, that's
Yeah, but you're-
$100 a month. Right? $1,200 a year. Now that barber cuts like 12 heads a day. You do the math.
And just about if you
10 is
weave.
250.
Yeah. Because you got to get the weave, depending on what hand, that's going to be $300 or $400 or more. And then
Per
you're going to
day.
charge.
You
I'm
know,
talking about the weave.
And they're open
You're
7
going to get out
days a
of there
week.
for $300 or
you know why
$400.
People don't want me on your show because the truth is hard to swallow.
And that's why you sitting
Bottom
here.
line is,
Real
we're
talk with
talking
Lady
about
Hale.
admirable professions.
Is your mic on?
I think
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
I can hear.
We're talking about admirable professions that
You're right, Wendy.
we deal with these people and interact with these people
Hey,
daily.
Pastor Gibson.
Yes.
Okay, but they took all this out to black schools.
You're right. I
There's
agree.
a reason they took it out.
Right.
Some people been setting us up for the penitentiary forever.
All
It's-
right now.
Everybody can't be Elvonte. Elvonte is an exception to the
Yes,
rule.
he is.
That means for every Elvonte that makes it, it's 100 Gerry
That's going
Monroe
to
that end up in
prison.
the penitentiary.
That's right.
You see, everybody ain't the honor roll student, man.
Come on now.
So them people already know that. Them people done set these kids up to go to the penitentiary. That's why you can't tell me why a school is failing, but yet at the same time, you can tell me how many beds you done identified for the prison system in the
Going
third grade.
Third grade.
Yes.
He right.
But let's go. I like to take history lessons and go back to where all this really just stems from, because a lot of times I think when we began to talk over a lot of people's heads because they don't understand the foundation of the racism within public education. And if we truly go back to the late 1800s, Plessy versus Ferguson,
Yes.
separate
yes.
but equal,
Yes.
you can start to understand that where education was already going. And then it takes you to the Board of Brown versus the Board of Education.
Correct.
So my thing is, when you begin to understand these court cases and these things of that nature, you can begin to look at education. And one thing that we fail to realize is our African American kids realize the black lives truly don't matter because it's not funding by education, right? So
Exactly.
now
Yes.
our kids understand they're not stupid.
Yes.
They understand when they sit in these classrooms that they really don't matter. When a kid can sit in my classroom and tell me, Mr. Patton, I can go to River Oaks and they have everything, but my school doesn't have everything. To me, it's not about me teaching you that. That's something that they
And
can
it's
recognize.
reality, because when I was teaching, like we at a table, we only had like one book per table, and then we had to go run copies off just to make
Yeah.
sure that the kids could have the lesson. How can I have 6 kids at a table with 1 book?
But that's the thing, and
Yes.
that's why I feel like it was time for me to run, because I understand the foundations that need to be pulled out and moved over. My
Yes.
thing is, paying a teacher a little bit of extra money to shut up ain't gonna change
Oh
nothing.
no, nothing
So
at all.
my thing is, now we have to uproot education as a whole and
Yes.
transform
Yeah,
education.
You uprooting education, bro.
Mhm.
You know, me and you, we differ on some points.
Yes, yes.
But I'll say this here, man. Remember when the war first started and the oil prices shot through the roof?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
was driving trucks and the gas prices went sky.
Okay.
And everybody was like, man, as soon as the gas prices go down, you know, we gonna start making more money. I say, dude, they gonna keep buying cars.
They gonna keep
They
doing
gonna
that.
keep driving and they gonna keep putting gas in their cars.
Correct.
It ain't going down.
You're
So
right.
everything you saying in the perfect world, it would actually be true.
If in a
These
perfect
people
world.
have education where they want it.
Yes. It is
And
not
they're
in my
not
third
feeling
ward, fourth
loosen the
ward, acres home.
stranglehold to give it to us.
I agree.
It's been shown that if you put a good educator like Elvonte in a school, he can educate our children.
They don't want him to.
They don't want him to.
That's the problem.
So my thing is these people are playing a very dangerous game. They're playing a very dangerous game
okay.
because time is going to catch up with them.
Yes.
The law average says if you don't educate these kids in about 10 to 15 years, you're not going to be able to control the streets at all.
I agree with you.
Now the thing is, those that are in politics, and you know that's why we're trying to get him in the office.
Yes.
Those that are sitting in positions of power, they don't get that statement
Mm-mm.
because they don't live in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, you use your P.O. box to run for state revenue, but you don't live in our neighborhood.
You don't live among
You don't
us.
deal with what we deal with
Nope.
every day.
We don't even see you in the community.
And one of the biggest misconceptions is and I'm watching it in education in
Yes,
Houston because
yes.
you see it so messed up.
Yes.
You got everybody on the west side of town advocating for everybody on the south side of town. Hold on a second, man. Y'all don't even come to my schools.
Right.
You don't even know what's going on in my schools. You don't know about a kid that's hungry that don't care nothing about
Come
education.
on now. You're right.
You don't understand the kid with the mind frame that think he's grown because he's selling dope every day and he's not gonna let you talk to him any kind of way.
He got to
Well, see,
survive.
and here's the
I
key
agree
part.
with you.
I understand what you're saying exactly. I do understand that because
Yes.
we see it on the west side as well. The kids that are having to take care of their siblings because
And themselves.
because-
Some of the
because
parents
mom-
they have to
But
take
on the,
care
west,
of.
but on the
on-
west side, and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't take that from y'all over there. But dog, y'all might see that like every now and then.
No,
We
no,
see it
trust
all
me,
the
What
we
time.
I'm
see it
trying
all
to
the
tell
time.
you
Trust
is,
me.
come on with me right now and let's go walk through South London.
Come
But
on
see,
now.
let's go. But see,
I'm
here's
ready
the
to
deal.
go.
There are very
Been
few.
walking through there.
So here's what I'm gonna say to you, brother. So I hear you talking,
Yeah.
and
We
there
need
was-
you to talk. You
Oh,
been
yeah,
over there
it's about
agreeing
to
with
be-
everybody.
It's about to be Real Talk with Lady Hale. So one of the videos
Yes.
that I watched of you, you talked to the school board about how they you use these words. You talked about how they bamboozled your people.
Right, right. I remember
Into
that.
coming into the schools, and realistically, when I think about that, you think about how the black community was originally set up, while we had our own education system,
Yes,
and how we had our own everything, barbers, beauty salons,
Yes, grocery stores,
tailors,
everything.
everything. And then when all of a sudden, when they say, "Hey, great, wait,
Let's
that's a ton
integrate.
of money over there, and we're missing it. We need to open the door and let them come on over here and
over
spend
here."
some of that." And then so you saw that, what was that, Brown versus
Board of Education,
where then they start busing black kids into
Right.
other
the white
schools,
neighborhoods and the white, yeah, because I
and
was a part of
ultimately
that.
put us in a predicament where we turned down what we already had that was working, right? Because if you look at the black community, if we ultimately actually took a stand and said, "Hey, the best resources we have is right here with us. We just need to expand upon and work together to build upon it instead of running out to the Sienna plantations and all the plantations
Plantation is
and
the key.
way out in no man's land, Pearlands and all that stuff versus the Sunnyside, South Park, Cloverland, Cashmere Gardens, Trinity Gardens, Acres Home,
Stay
Greens
in my
Point,
hood.
where we, Third Ward, where we are prominent. And
Yes.
like that HEB that just about
Open
to
up.
open
Ain't
up.
nobody impressed with that HEB.
I'm not impressed with it at all because you and I both know that is not for.
That's not for us. That's not for us.
My biggest concern about that HEB is yeah, you open that HEB and that HEB was not built for us.
Right,
Okay, I get that, but the HEB is going to be open tomorrow.
right, tomorrow.
So what happens to the community that's going to lose their HEB?
And
They
you don't have
nothing. They have a
transportation.
Ty Burns that ain't nothing but a big convenience store.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like you're taking care of them,
But not us.
but not us. Now, as we make these statements, you know they're gonna misconstrue that and say we're racist
Yes.
because we're
Good.
speaking the truth.
Well,
So
you
when-
can't speak up for
so-
black people without being
Being
racist.
racist.
I want somebody to tell me, you're the educator, Elvonte.
Yes.
When did we have more black lawyers graduating from school? In the 60s or the 2019?
You're right, Alicia.
When did we have more black doctors?
In the 50s and
50s and
60s.
60s, or
Of course.
is it now? You know why? Because black people were educating them.
Yes.
The biggest mistake we made was when we allowed the oppressor
To come in and
to
teach
educate
us.
our children.
I agree.
Now, in 2019, they still stuck, and they still dumb, because you're still running to the magnet school. When you just made a comment about Brown versus the Board of Education,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
there were no magnets until that happened.
Yeah.
They created magnet schools and school choice to circumvent Brown versus the Board of Education. So why you think you got to pass the test? Why you think you got to score a certain amount to get
Right.
to certain schools?
We do.
Because they really don't want you there.
Yep.
They
Yep.
need you there as a token.
To meet
So
that
my
quota.
thing is
And
when
they
I
only
see
want the
people
best of
trying
the
to
best.
develop their own schools, I don't care how they develop them. We need to be educated by our people.
And
I'm
I
not
agree.
saying that white people cannot educate black kids.
No, you're not saying that.
What I see now is a lot of them don't have the patience.
And they can't
They don't
relate to our
understand.
children.
And I
they
don't.
can't relate to them.
Well, you got to understand too. I mean, kid coming fresh out of college, white kid coming fresh out of college, and you throw him in the Lions Den.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot him on over there to Yates Worthy.
Oh,
And
no.
hold on a second,
Wait
man.
a minute.
Oh, we
It's
got
a
a couple
culture
of,
shock.
They
we
ain't
got a
gonna
couple
work.
of those
They
in
ain't
the
gonna
league as
work.
well, where you send them in and they like, ooh.
So,
Ooh, I need to get up out of
my
here.
thing is the bamboozling part is right now we're trusting the politicians to help us fix this, but we got the wrong people representing us. That's why it's important to get a young brother like Elvonte
Yes. Truly
into
support
office.
him.
Now,
So, I
the
wanna hear
last time we
Elvonte's-
spoke on you going into office,
Right.
because you know me, I'm front line.
Right. Let's get it.
I actually ran into his opponent,
Who was that?
State Rep Al, who listened to the
Oh.
whole.
You ran into her?
Ran into it, and
You
I know
actually
she's
saw her.
probably listening now.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So my thing was, it was a very eloquent interview.
Mm-hmm.
The man did not disrespect her. I didn't disrespect
No.
her. Critical didn't disrespect her.
Positive.
But she said that we did. You know what's disrespectful?
Telling the
That you
truth.
have a formidable opponent.
That's
You
just the
have
truth.
somebody that's young, articulate, that
Coming
knows
with
what
fresh
he's talking about,
ideas.
has fresh ideas that can really give you a run for the money.
And that's disrespectful.
And that's disrespectful. You see, Elvonte's supposed to be Monroe, loudmouth, cussing all the
Oh,
time
no.
and all that,
He's his
trying
own.
to run for office.
No.
No, because Monroe can be Elvonte any day of the week.
All right now. We know
You feel
how
what I'm
we,
saying?
we can go
So,
from fifth ward to
At
the White
the
House.
end of the day, it's time for a new regime. We can't fix our problems now because we're dealing with an old guard that doesn't want change. They don't want change. And
Right.
the word change is the key. Because if you change some things, you're going to mess up their change.
We might actually educate some
No,
kids.
you might actually mess up their money. Because all of them getting their little money.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm at a charter school one day with an issue out in Fort Bend a couple of months ago. The man running the school, you know, Congressman Al Green. I was saying, I'm not here to talk about no Al Green.
That ain't got nothing to do with our conversation.
Sheila Jackson Lee.
That ain't got
Because
nothing to do with our
everybody's tied
situation.
into the money.
So he name dropping.
Name dropping don't mean
wrong
nothing.
captain.
That don't mean
So,
nothing.
you know, I just think that the bamboozling part
Yes.
is we believe that we have to be associated with people that really don't want nothing to do with us. I'm being straight up with you,
I
man.
agree with you.
You know, some people tell me, oh, you racist. No,
No,
I'm
you're
not.
not. You're just speaking the truth.
No, I'm not. You know what? I do the same thing to people of different nationalities that they do with me. I tolerate you.
Right.
Yes. All right now. Like
I
you said.
tolerate you. I'm not racist. I tolerate you.
You're right.
So, you know, my thing is I'm pro-black. I'm for what? Everything that's black. I like black-owned businesses.
Yes.
Some of y'all ain't doing good business.
But that's all right. We're going to support you.
But we gonna support
We're
you.
gonna support you.
We're gonna
You know,
support
you gotta be. Let's be real about that. As a whole, because what happens in other nationalities, their people will support even when they know they're dead wrong.
Yes,
when
they will.
know they're at their worst.
That's one
When they're
thing.
acting at their worst, their community
Still there.
support them. But when we do something, we immediately
Blast us
gone.
all on
So,
Facebook and
and
everything else.
my boy's over there with his wheels spinning again. I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
Dude, I know you, Elvonte. One thing people need to know about Elvonte is Elvonte can work on both sides of the spectrum. He's well
Yes.
educated, and he also still a guy that can work well in the hood.
Right.
And that's a
prefer to
very
stay in the
dangerous
hood.
person. One thing we need to realize is that Gerry Monroe is very like abrupt and aggressive, but yet he can still work that crowd.
can work
And
in
that's
the
what
White
scares
House.
people
They
is when
scared.
you can work them.
I'm not a. Let me tell you who
No,
I
that
am.
what people see.
What people
And
see.
What people
They-
that's
they-
not what they see, but what they believe.
But they create this persona
Yes.
of me, and I get it
Yes.
because you need an excuse as to why you don't want to deal with me.
Yes.
Well,
I will be straight up with you. Gerry Monroe is a passionate person.
Yes, you are.
Gerry
I agree.
Monroe is a very articulate person. But once you come at me sideways, you gonna
It's
get it.
on.
Well, passion is a mug, and I'm gonna tell you. So, Elvonte,
Yeah.
brother, your wheels are spinning. You said some things about, the board, Brown versus the Board of Education, and what was the young lady that was walked in? She was the first child that walked into an all-white
Ruby.
school. Didn't she pass? She passed not too long ago.
Yeah, Miss Ruby.
Yeah, and we have to talk about. Here's the deal. What I feel is we're not paying homage and truly honoring those individuals that took that pain and suffering, that hurt and that ridicule and all that discriminate behavior and actually
Right,
turned it
Terrell.
into something great that you
Mr.
actually
Henderson.
benefit from right
Yes.
now, right? Because you can go places and people, they may be thinking it in their head, but they're not speaking it. Back then, they spoke it.
Yes.
They put their hands on you. They
You're
did
right.
all kind of things to
You're
you
right.
to hurt you.
Hey,
And so now what I tell people is when you don't vote, I think you are
You're
dishonoring
yeah.
those individuals
You're right.
who had their churches burned, had
Who
their
were killed.
their fathers were burned,
Lynched.
they were hung from trees.
Yes.
You are dishonoring those individuals. So, Elvonte, what I would ask you is, how do you personally feel about the lack thereof of input and inclusion and involvement by the black community in cultivating an education system that benefits black and brown children?
My thing is, I always tell people, first thing I thought about was, how am I going to educate those that's in my community?
Yes.
Why do I need to go outside to educate
That's what
someone
I'm
else's
saying,
kids
stay
when
in
I
my
can
own
educate
community.
my own community? So my thing is,
You're right,
that's where I
Nisha.
start at home. Because I feel like at the end of the day, I tell people any day of the week that my kids that I teach every day are my security.
Yes.
I don't need a security around my house because the same kids that I educate are going to
Gonna
take care
protect
of
your
me
house.
because they know I have much love for them. So I don't have to worry about no one looking at my house but them, because they know at the end of the day we got to look out for Mr. Patton and make sure Mr. Patton's good. So my thing is, that's first and foremost, that I treat everybody with respect. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. So education is beyond the fact of what I put in the book for you. It's more so the love that I can show you. A kid today told me, Mr. Patton, you're my father at school.
Yes,
And that
I hear
was-
that all the time.
That was
That's
deep
real.
to hear that from.
Yeah.
an
I hear
eighth
that all the
grader
time.
that,
Yeah.
you know, you're my father while I'm here. So
Yeah,
that
and you
lets
might
me
be the
know
only father you
that
never
I'm
know.
making a big
Impact,
impact
yes.
on a kid.
That's right.
So my thing is, that's the first thing I think about when I'm running this race. It's not how much money I can put in my war chest. It's how many kids I can get
Can help.
involved
That's what
in
I
this
say.
campaign. Because what I started to realize is our kids don't know politics because we ain't put them in politics. So my thing is, if I'm gonna play chess, I gotta play chess for the long haul. I can't play
Yes.
chess for the short term.
Yes.
So my thing is, this kid right now might only be 13. However, if I'm in for 3 terms, he will vote for me.
Yes.
So the foundation has been built. So that's what our elected officials are scared of today. That's why they don't want to make this change, because they don't want to make change for those that they truly feel like they can make the change for. So my thing is, with education, it always starts with the individual teacher and the impact they can have in the
Yes.
classroom.
On that, and I agree with that. I want to say something right quick, and I was heard Mr. Monroe say that. I remember it was a teacher at our school. She didn't, look like us, and it was a little girl in there. She's a very straight A student little girl, and all of a sudden she stopped doing her homework at home. So the teacher kept giving her zeros. I said, wait a minute. I need to talk with this child because this is not normal for her. She loves work. She loves reading. No, she's not. She just getting lazy and whatever. So I pulled the child aside and I talked to her. I said, baby, what's going on? Guess what? They didn't have any lights at the house. So how can she do her homework if she didn't have any lights in the house? But this teacher could not relate why she didn't have any lights on in the house. I'm like, and she just like, well, that's not our problem if she don't have any lights. How come that's not our problem? We need to do something about that. And I was telling her, we can't, she can't get the clothes washed. So what I told the mom, bring them up there. In the sped, they have the wash and dry. So we washed the clothes up there so the child could have fresh clothes, and she could not understand that. So you know what? She decided to go on back up to Kingwood.
Well,
that's what
that's
you need
what
to
she
do.
needs
Don't
to
come
do.
in
Yeah,
our hood.
exactly.
Don't
That's
come
what
out
she
here
should
with
do.
us. If you can't understand that some people, I just can't understand how you not have light. Well, have you ever been to Acres Home, 4th Ward, 3rd Ward? Some kids have to use candles for that. Some of them, if the lights out, you can't use the washer and dryer. They just don't relate to
Now,
that.
Can I play devil's advocate
Yes,
for
sir.
a second? I feel you on that. And I know that's a realization.
Yes.
But these same parents that
Oh, I know
pay
how they.
light bill,
But they got the big
they
Apple
in-
phones.
No, they in Carrington's every Friday night. These same parents
I
begging for
agree.
backpacks. When it's prom time, they got Maseratis.
Hey,
Yeah.
See,
they
I'ma
got all
tell you
this
something.
weed down their hair. I can't even afford.
We making it is a
That's the truth.
large
Right.
percentage of children that deal with that.
Yes,
But then there's a percentage of parents
yes.
that just ain't doing what they supposed
And I
to do.
totally agree with you. I
And
agree.
and they want everybody to feel sorry for
No,
them.
I ain't feeling sorry for
I
you.
can't keep doing that, man.
I agree.
We want to help the kids.
I want to
no
help
doubt.
the cheer. That's
You
the
see,
only
but
thing.
some of these people don't want you to help their kids.
Yes, you'll get cussed out.
They don't want you to help their kids. So, I just feel a certain way about
You're
that.
telling the truth.
I mean, I see it.
And I also had another
They had dreams
parent.
every Friday, Saturday, and
Come on
Sunday.
now. And I had another parent, her child was in the sped, and every time her child would go, the child was increasing, learning more. So she went to them and told them that I'm going to cause her to lose her check because I'm educating her child. I'm like, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? She want me to keep so she can keep her check. But I'm like, so you would rather have a check than me educate your child. I'm just not understanding that.
Maybe I'm going to get this wrong. When you say that, that's because the difference between a Democrat and a Republican to me is Democrats create programs to keep you dependent on the government.
Thank you, babe. I did get it.
That's my honest
Here you go.
opinion.
Yes.
They create
Yeah, I
programs
agree.
to keep you poor.
Oh, I agree with you. There
And
you
the
go,
ones we
Erica.
got in office right now, they gonna have everybody and their mama trying to get a check.
All right now.
So the thing I think about education, and when I think about our African American community, the first thing I think about is when is our kids going to get grit? and when they're gonna put in effort. Those are the two major
right.
things that we have to begin to teach our kids.
I agree.
Grit and effort. Those two things take you so far. It's not about
Right.
how intellectually
you
smart
are.
you are. It's how hard you're willing to work. And can you last the test of time? Getting a doctorate degree is all about the test of time. It has
Oh, tell
nothing
me
to do
about
with
it.
how smart I am. It has everything to do with, can I constantly deal with the
this.
time?
You're right. You're
So
right.
if I can get my kids to understand all you have to do is face the test of time. I'm no smarter than anybody in this room.
You're right.
But one thing I can say, I faced the education time.
Yes.
So how do you do
Hey,
that?
John.
I'll
Number-
say this here: a thoroughbred horse, it ain't born, it's bred.
So
And it's
So the
trained.
system,
how do you do that?
The system will not allow you to be the teacher
so-
that you need to
so
be.
this
to
is,
the
right.
kids.
this is what I do. What I do is, I don't put grades on the paper.
Come on
Grades
now.
on the paper is discouraging. Because number one, Johnny over here can make an A without trying.
Yes.
But little Vontae over here can try hard as
And
heck
still
and
make
get
an
an
F. Come on
So
now.
why am I, what's the difference?
That's
My
right.
thing now is
Yeah,
effort.
share the video.
So if you're telling me that you're not putting no effort in over
And call
here,
in,
then you
please.
got an
Please
A,
call in.
that's an F to me.
Yes.
But you put in all this effort and you're trying hard as all get out, you're going to get that A.
Yes. You're gonna
Because
get it.
I'm going to grade you off your effort. Because now I can sit back and look how hard you really
You're
trying.
trying.
And I get
And
that.
then, well, you
but
gotta understand that correlates to.
You're in a different sector.
Well, no, hold on.
Try that in HISD and see
Well,
how
here's the
your
difference.
job.
So here's the deal. Here's
You
what
be
I'm
out
tell
the
you.
door.
So this is where I would address it on both your sides.
Y'all share
Right?
the video, please.
As a whole, we continue to fail.
Hey,
Well,
man.
the way that because I was a youth coach, and the way that we handled games was in the spirit of good sportsmanship. So my team, and I always chose the kids that couldn't play, never played basketball ever before.
Nobody
I
pick 'em for
wanted
their
those
team.
kids on purpose. I didn't want the superstar. Your kids,
No,
Jordan,
stay over there.
you go over there.
Stay over
We go
there.
that team. I don't want him because I don't want you, as a parent, coming to tell me how to
How to
coach
do your
kid,
job.
right? So I chose all the kids that were going to be difficult, right? And what you would find is that those kids ultimately succeed more
Yes.
than the other ones. So there was a game where my team, when my other coach was getting married, I stopped in to check out the team, see how we're doing. The parents that substituted for us while I was attending his wedding
Yes.
told me, dude, they got up to 68-3, and they had to run the score back to zeros on both sides, just so both kids, both groups, both teams didn't feel inferior to each other, or that they have. And I said, well, that's kind of interesting. I said, because what that does is that says, look, now we just are playing. We're enjoying this. This is just about us. This is not about winning or losing. And what you will find in education is what Elvonte said about not grading based upon the fact that you're successful at the gate, but based upon how hard you tried.
Yes.
Because people think, well, you think about all the kids that get sabotaged mentally because they tried their best. They did everything they could
And you
and
still
failed.
fail. Yes.
What does that do to you? If you did everything you could
And I
you
still
still
fail.
failed, what does that do to you? Even as an adult, that will sabotage you. And we're doing that into our black and brown children. Now,
I
I
agree.
know
Why
your
is
wheels
it
are
just-
spinning there,
Why
Brother
is
Monroe.
it just black and brown kids? The biggest mystery I've ever seen is why did black and brown kids get dumb at the same time in America?
Oh, they
Hey,
did.
Maria.
They did. They just it's just not
They
getting the
stopped.
no. They're not getting the same chances as every other community's getting.
Anybody
That's-
in the black
so-
anybody stuck in the black community is going to get the girth of what is meant for black children. What you got to realize is that if you're in the black community, if the majority of your community is black,
Yes.
you are going to be subjected to the same harm that is meant strictly for the black
My
community.
statement not long ago was the education system is developed to keep black people poor. So no, they're not dumb. It's just the process of keeping them poor. Simple as that.
So my thing is, I got people asking,
I told them.
how do you fix it? I mean, the first
Yeah, how do we
line
fix it?
of defense is you gotta get out and vote the right
Come on
people
now.
in that can change some of these rules, these policies,
But
these
the
laws,
question
so that
is,
we can get something
how
done.
do you do that when some of
can't
your
even get 'em
black
to-
faces are clowns as well? Let's be honest. Let's be real honest. One of the races that I'm very impressed with, and I look
No,
forward to
once
seeing
you
what she
said how
can
to
do,
do
is
it?
Dr. Carolyn Evans-Shabazz for
Yes.
District D.
Hey, Lanisha.
I have to
Right.
say that was a very interesting race with Brother Brad Jordan and
Yeah.
and Dr. Carolyn
Oh, yeah.
Evans-Shabazz. But what I would tell you is that I look forward to seeing what Dr. Shabazz can do in District D.
In whether it's Shabazz,
Scarface,
whether
whoever,
it's
somebody do
Scarface, whether
something.
it's Letitia
Hey,
Plummer,
Chris.
Sally Alcott, it can
Alcorn.
be whoever. Alcorn, whatever. I'm not waiting to look forward. I don't need to do a study on what needs to be fixed.
I already know.
These
I'm out
people
there
already
doing-
know how to fix it.
Yes.
And they won't fix it because they making money off of black people going to jail. And that's all it boils down to.
I love that you said that, and I typically one thing
They don't want it
if you-
fixed.
If you have not had a
Who's
serious
they?
conversation with me, I will set you up to get you to say
don't
what's
say that.
real.
Josh.
Josh said,
He don't understand.
Josh said, who is they?
Yes.
See, back in the day, Josh, the world
He
used
stay
to
in
be
Third Ward,
the,
so
the
he was
world
with
used to
y'all.
be black and white.
Yes.
But now it ain't. It's rich or poor.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So the,
Yes.
the working class poor people, they get the worst of everything.
Yeah, you're right.
You see what I'm saying? Elvonte learned how to write cursive in 3rd grade. Am I correct? Because that's where we
Correct.
started.
That's correct.
All right? Your basic reading fundamentals started in the 2nd grade.
Correct.
All right? Why all of a sudden they doing the same thing on the other side of town,
Right.
but in the low performance schools they ain't doing it.
You're right. You're right.
They know what it takes to fix flooding in Houston. They know what it takes to stop these gangs in Houston. They know what it takes to fix education in Houston. But on a certain side of town, we don't have to do that.
You're right.
But who's responsible for is that the city council at the end of the day, or is that
That's the
HIA?
community.
I
That's
think it's the community.
That's the
Is that
community.
us?
That's city council. That's the mayor. That's all those representatives that sit up there in Austin and act like they doing work. And that's even all the way to the United States Congress.
Yes.
That's all those senators and representatives that proclaim that they're doing working on your behalf, and they're doing crap. You have to be realistic and you have to be honest with yourself about who's representing you and if they're really truly putting in the work.
You know, I was thinking yesterday. You know, I reflected on the races that were ran and
Yes, yes.
who won, and then
Yes.
I started thinking of our condition, and I saw how comfortable we are with where we at.
I see it the same thing.
We comfortable where we at. We keep talking about fixing the
Yes,
problem.
yes.
We got good people like Elvonte, Scarface, Monroe, Larry
Yes.
McKenzie, Travis McGee,
Yes.
qualified people running for office.
Yes.
You won't get out your house and vote for us. Yet you keep complaining about your
You're
situation.
right. You're right.
You're comfortable where you are.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
And when it comes to education, you can't expect for a parent to turn the corner and value education for their child when they don't even have a
Right.
GED.
Come on now.
I
You
think-
can't expect for a parent to be a good parent when you were comfortable with them having babies at 12 years old.
Come on now.
Well, that was you. You want to discuss that? Let's talk about that. Planned Parenthood.
Oh yeah.
Now let's talk about back when I was born, 1975. Planned Parenthood was actually in order to allow black mothers to get the support for the children that they were having. They were also forcing the mother
Yeah, we need to
to
hear from them.
ultimately sign a waiver that they could sterilize
Them.
their daughter
Mhm.
because they were trying to control the
black
amount of black
community
children
that
that
were
were born
born.
into
Planned Parenthood was
Planned
so if you want to
Parenthood.
talk about
Look up
real
their
true
history.
stuff. Now I'm from Mississippi. Now if you want to challenge me, I can show you the research
you
on
telling the
that
truth.
about that. Because the realization is you were not supposed to be here.
And we
you
here.
abandon your existence. You suck up resources that are
So,
good for solid
if
people.
you know your history and they didn't want us here, They wasn't comfortable with us. They're still oppressing us in 2019. Here's my question to you. I want the people to see you when I ask you. Why is it so important for us to be included in everything that they do?
Who wants to do that? I don't. You
Majority
got
of
If
people,
you
them
got
have
people,
been
one or two
running
of us,
out there.
it's a
You got
table
people-
full of us that may feel that
but
way.
you got people around here
But
that
black
feel
people
that way.
feel right now in America, especially in the city of Houston, well, we're in the most diverse city in the country.
That's right.
Man,
For
you in the
who?
most segregated
Don't
city in
Yes,
the
feel
country.
you are.
right, Anisha.
And I had a
don't wanna
conversation
accept
on. The crazy part is I had a conversation on the way here when the individual that has been in politics and advocating and lobbying for a long time, and we both agreed the same thing. The problem is that we're well segregated here. You got people that are smiling in your face. Well, think about this. Now, it's going to piss a lot of people off, but I don't care because the truth hurts. Say
The
ouch,
truth is the truth.
right? So, at the end of the day, we're running out there to support all these initiatives for people that a lot of times when it comes time for you, because a young black man got shot and killed and he had his hands up or he was running away and it wasn't a good shoot, and the first thing people want to do is go, well, you need to obey the police. But when it comes time for them, because all of a
Yes.
sudden, I'm going to piss people off with this, and I'm okay
Come on
with
with
that.
it.
When it comes time for ICE to start rounding up people,
Yes.
we're supposed to jump on the bandwagon to fight these things.
Mhm.
Right, right. We're supposed to jump on it and be all in it and prevent and start sending text
Yes.
messages to say where ICE is and things like that. But at the end of the day, where were you when that black man was
Come on
shot in
now.
cold blood? Where were you
Where
when
were
that
you?
when that child was sent to ultimately baby prison
That's right.
because of something so minor as he made a statement? Not necessarily actually
Action.
an action,
A
but made a
statement.
statement. I've seen some school administrators. So recently, an Alief ISD employee ran over a child, hit a child, racing to get out of the damn parking lot. I was there 2 minutes after it happened, and the other candidates were there to see it happen. Do you know that Alief ISD would not have made any type of statement about it? The only reason why they did was because the police reported it as a fatality,
Okay, Justin.
and it wasn't a fatality. So Alief ISD had to respond. They had to react, because typically we don't get information about things that happen in the district. You don't hear about the rapes. You don't hear about the stabbings. You don't hear about the shootings that happen. You don't hear about, because ABC 13 and their trash ass.
It's
And
not-
so I apologize
It's
for
not
the
this
ass
static
word,
on
but
your mind.
at the end of the day, there are people around here that act like they care and they don't care. And if you want to sit there and play this game with those people and act like they matter, they don't. Because at the end of the day, the people in this room have done more for the communities, the black and brown communities of this city, than most of these big organizations.
I agree.
When we talk about elections, let's talk about people that were running. Let's talk about Travis McGee. Let's talk about other people like Niecy Hamilton that ultimately is out there fighting about human trafficking.
Yes.
Let's talk about the serious things that truly affect in our black community. But these clowns that are in office right now are sitting there getting paid. They're worth millions, and yet they don't do nothing. So you guys don't have to speak to this. I don't care. I'm not from here. That's one of the key things that do help me is I'm not from you, so you don't scare me. If you try me, that's the dance you don't really want to dance. Because I grew up in Kansas City where people get killed every 5 minutes. So what I would tell you is I dealt with our hoods. Kansas City is like Chicago, like St. Louis, like Detroit. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to education, you cannot play, because in our black and brown communities, we are suffering. And it's not necessarily somebody else's fault. It's ours, because we have not sat there and said enough is enough.
Now you from out of town, right?
Yeah.
I'm not from around here.
So I'm gonna ask each one of y'all at this table.
Yeah.
I'm not from
I'm gonna say
around
these people,
here.
there's 4 people at the table.
Yeah. 5 with
I'm gonna
you.
just ask you, it's a yes or no question. Just give me
Okay.
an answer. Does Houston have a gang problem?
Yes,
Yes.
Does Houston have a gang problem?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Does Houston have a gang problem?
Yes.
Houston have a gang problem?
Yes.
Houston does not have a gang problem.
What the
Where
hell?
you live at then?
Houston has a clique problem.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's totally different.
Yeah,
No,
it's totally different.
no, no,
Right.
no, no, no.
It's
I
totally
live,
different.
we have a
You're right.
gang problem.
No,
Trust me,
let
we
me help
have
you
a gang
with that.
problem in A-Leaf. We
Now
truly-
that's his blind opinion.
Okay, we gonna go in here. Oh, we got the man
I
to
think
speak.
what we have to look at is how we're defining Game.
Yes.
Because a clique can be defined
As
as
a
a
game.
game.
Well, let me help you out with that.
So
part.
do you have
Now,
MS-13
what I
Yes,
tell
we
you
do.
is this here.
Do you have the
What I
Southwest
tell you
Solo?
this here. Is if you're not an expert on that stuff, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
So,
yeah.
We got a click
if you-
problem here.
No.
I'm telling you what it is. On
So-
every little
So
corner.
people don't know me here.
Okay.
So I'm from Kansas City, where most gangs from LA migrated to. The Bloods and the Crips became a very big deal. Mississippi was the Vice Lords and the GD, that's Against Disciples. And so in Kansas City, as a bail bondsman, I dealt with a large percentage of our gang members, and we had a very serious problem. What you have here, now if you want to define it as a clique problem, yes, you have a serious clique problem, and it goes beyond street gangs. It's cliques at the higher level, at the political level,
Yeah.
which we talked about.
Political
that
We ain't talking about
but gangs, yes, you do have.
You talking about
and
in the neighborhood
it
streets,
may
right?
be now.
Well,
It may
let's
be
listen to him.
isolated. It may be isolated.
Let's hear from
Because
you.
of what, and then I'll let you go because I see you wheels spinning. So here's the deal: in an economy and a city made up like this, and where people are struggling, what you're going to have is where versus a gang, you're going to have a clique of individuals trying to survive.
Yes.
So I understand that 9 times out of 10, that's probably what you're going to mention. As the people that are trying to, the people that have come together to try to protect their communities and survive. But at the end of the day, what I see on my side,
Were you a part of, have you been a part of the gang? You?
No.
Okay.
It's just a lot of my family.
Family.
You know what I'm saying?
So you have firsthand experience.
It's a part of the game.
Okay.
You know, my thing is just like Mr. Monroe said. It's a lot of cliques.
Yes.
Everybody like the colors that the gangs wear. You know, so that's what a lot of the community is seeing.
Okay.
A lot of the colors.
Okay.
You know, because everybody want to be affiliated with somebody that has respect in the hood.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In the community. You know, so there isn't really a gang problem. Everybody just want to be affiliated with those colors.
Okay.
You know, so it's a whole clique of youngsters and even old fools wearing these colors. You know, so it makes it look like a gang problem. All of the gang, real gang members, you know what I'm saying, pretty much locked up or dead. You know, but all of these cliques are running around in the city right now.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I like blue, and I just don't think that.
Okay, if you go to the right neighborhood, they're going to label you a gang.
All right, and you right.
You know, the crazy part is, you know, I live in A-Leaf, and we see a lot of tagging, a lot of gang
Way away
activity
from us.
with Southwest Cholos and other organizations that tend to frequent our community. What I see is a lack of investment. Young people that don't have somebody to say that you're worth 10 times more. That you have people outside of this group of individuals.
Nobody but Mr. Monroe.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You're the only one saying that.
And that's the only thing, and that's so much, I have so much respect for him.
Yes, I do too.
Because he's the only man that I know in the state of Texas really that's on the front line for these kids and don't care what anybody has to say about it. By himself. He ain't with no clique.
No,
he
not.
by himself on the front line. Man, and I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Too.
And I know every parent around the city appreciates it.
Appreciate
But
you.
one of the things that I like about Monroe is the fact, and I watch his videos first before I even engaged with him, is he reminds me of me. That was me in Kansas City, where people, man, I don't know how you by yourself all the time, and these clowns talking stuff, but they ain't never ran up on you. You ain't.
Because they have so much respect for you. That's why.
One thing I learned, the police officer, one time a police officer told me, he said he was introducing me to a new rookie police officer. And he was like, this is Anton, he's a bail bondsman, he's well respected across the city of Kansas City. And, you know, the crazy part is that he'll clean out a corner faster than we can. He hits his corner, all of a sudden the guy's got something to do.
Hold on.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not about bullying. It's
You
not
still
about
there?
fear. It's about respect. See, the
hold on.
thing
I
is,
can't
people,
hear you.
a lot of people here in Texas don't understand what respect means.
Can you hear?
See, is willing to
Okay.
ultimately bow their head and say, okay,
Right.
But people here are so quick to, nah, man, you know, I got my own opinion, I got my own thoughts, and so whatever, man, you know. No, but what Gerry is doing,
Hold on, game tight.
we need more people to do.
Yes, we need more people like
We need more
him.
people to step up. You were recently at, what was the Rexdale or whatever the ISD the other night?
Well,
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Okay, can y'all hold on? We have a caller
Yeah,
on.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, caller.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, game tight. Thank you.
Let me say this one quick before Monroe said what he was going to say. Back in the day, we had games, and the games was you couldn't come to this territory, you couldn't come to this neighborhood,
Exactly.
you couldn't suspect that tip. So with the times changing, it turns to click because you can live in the same neighborhood and don't get along with the same person in your neighborhood. So I don't know if that's where Monroe is going or that's
Private, so, yeah.
but that's the transition that happened in Houston. The neighborhoods, if you grew up in the same neighborhood, you bring the same set, they're not getting along no more. It's just they only getting along who they want to get along with.
All right.
And move forward from that point instead of helping each other. So that's all I had to say on that. If I'm wrong, Monroe, let me know. But that's the way I've been seeing it for the last maybe 20 years since I've been out of school.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, game tight.
Well, I say this here. You just brought up.
I agree with him. You know,
Go ahead.
you know, and even in the, you know, even in the mid '90s, late '90s, you know what I'm saying, mid '90s when we had the city under siege, when you know you had the Trinity Gordon Pisces, you had the Greenspoint Pisces, you know, you had so many of these different groups in these hoods, you know, and they were classified, you know, during that time as a gang. But if you look back at it, you know, it was just a bunch of people clicked up.
Yep. No doubt. Say, Anton, you brought up a good issue. Last night I was in Refugio, Texas.
Yes.
Small little town. They actually are going to play for a state championship tomorrow in 2A. But the big issue down there is the song Dixie is their fight song.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
yeah,
I heard
It's
you
their
say
fight song. So, I mean, you have a city that's predominantly Latino.
Yes.
You have a small percentage of blacks, and you know that small percentage of whites that want to control everything.
Yes.
And the last month they went to a school board meeting. They voted to keep the song. 7 board members, 2 of them voted to get rid of it, and 5 voted to keep it.
Yes.
I saw the story, and I said, well, you know what? This is right up my alley. This is what I do. So I went down there last night, and you have some angry Latino people that don't want this song. You have some students that don't want this song. It's an embarrassment to them if they sitting in the stands with their friends who coming to visit, and the team getting ready to run on the field, and then you strike up Dixie.
Come on now.
So, you know, what I told them last night was simple. Dixie is a very disrespectful song to me.
Yes, it is.
And if that's the case, why don't you tell the band to learn NWA F the police?
All right.
You wouldn't do
That
that
ain't gonna happen.
because you feel that's disrespectful. So, you know, I would love to have y'all insight on this thing, because, I mean, right now, it's either they going to change the song. Now, y'all know me. I'm going to sit here and, you know, I got all y'all on camera.
Hey, you know,
I
hey,
done got them people business, and y'all know me.
well,
Them people don't want me down there, man.
They sure don't.
but here's the deal.
Thank you.
If we are not standing up for what's right, then we're standing for what's wrong.
I did not put that down.
You can't sit there and act like it doesn't exist when it does. All that hate, all that BS, it's real. Let's talk about where we are as a city. We're poised to be the 3rd largest city in the nation.
Yes.
What are we going to do about that? Because with that comes a lot of additional headaches, pain, suffering. Overworked ISDs, highways. And look about how bad the highway was. You know, I took the streets all the way here from A-Leaf.
Yeah, but give me your insight on this raggedy song.
The raggedy what?
Raggedy
The
song.
song
Raggedy Dixie song.
trash. Just like the statues that celebrate Civil War individuals from the Confederate Party.
But you know, they say, some people say we don't want to get rid of our history.
Well, that's
That's
because
our
they
history.
history. What history? Like it's about as bad as the people say that the Confederate flag is not about hate. It's about history. It's about whatever, and that's BS.
Well, do you think they should get rid of the Confederate flag?
Yes.
Well, I
We're
think
one
to answer
nation
your
now.
question,
Why do you have two
The
flags?
question was about the school district and the song, right?
Yes.
I personally believe that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yep.
And I think this is the first step of testing what you really go with that community. What are you really going to stand for? Because if you let them get away with this, they're going to continue to push the envelope because they know that you won't stand for everything.
All right now.
Exactly. Well, the way I feel about, all of it is, if the song is offensive to one kid,
It's offensive to all.
it's offensive to all children.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, I mean, the song needs to be changed.
Yes.
This is my honest opinion. The song needs to be changed.
I agree.
Because they don't want us to strip them of their history. Well, hold on a
I
second,
agree.
because your history and that song ties into my history, and it don't look like yours. It don't feel like yours. You ain't went through what we went through. See, people, like you say, people get mad at you for making comments. I tell people, why you so upset with the Confederate flag? Man, you know how many black people died under the Confederate flag? I say, nah, but that number is astronomical when you look at the American flag.
Come on now.
How many black people died under the American flag?
So I got a comment here that says that they might as well have a Confederate flag out there if they're playing that. They're going to continue to play that song, and that's a problem. I'm from Mississippi. I'm not far from Texas as far as and the craziness that unfolded against our people. And so if you think about racism and discrimination, let's talk about the University of Ole Miss.
Yes.
Who stopped playing the song in
Yes, stopped
2014?
playing the song in 2014. They were pressured to, right? So why is there still individuals or ISDs
Gotta
or
test the water.
that are
Yeah, exactly.
I think-
and that's
yeah.
they trying to test the
they're
water.
trying to test water to see
Pretty
how
much because they seen that it was been put a stop to. So now somebody want to get smart and try to test the waters. It's election time. So many dum-dums coming out doing unnecessary foolishness, trying to get that attention and exposure,
Yes.
but just like I was discussing with one of my good friends on yesterday, I listen to a lot of comments, I don't say too much, I watch a lot of different things,
Yes.
and that's one thing that they do not want right now is a race war where sides have to be taken, because that's their revolution, hey, it's real, and that's something that we have to be prepared for and have to teach our kids, because that's something that's not being taught, and that's something that we have to get ready for.
I think a lot of kids down in Refugio don't get it
Yes.
because they don't teach our history.
True.
So if you taught our history, this would be a no-brainer.
I agree.
But the ones that are old enough to clearly get it, they don't want to get it. They want it to stay the same. So, at the end of the day, we can move mountains.
Yes.
We can move mountains. And I'm not finna sit quiet while this is going on, because when I think about some of this stuff, this is what I think about.
All right. We ready?
When you offend
Hey, Anton.
a white person, you got a major problem. When you offend a gay person, you got a major problem.
You right?
When you offend a handicapped person,
Yes.
you got a major problem.
You right?
But when you offend a black person, it's business as usual.
Come on now.
yeah.
Don't worry, y'all need to get over it.
Facts. Yeah.
Y'all need to get over it. You need to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Well, some of us ain't gonna leave it alone.
That's
Right.
right.
Some of us ain't gonna sit back
Some of us ain't sitting
and let
back.
it go on. I think they have a decent superintendent down there who, this is how the song, they haven't played the song in 4 weeks at the game.
Okay.
And the only reason they haven't played it is because the football coach went to the superintendent and told her, tell them don't play the song so it don't distract the boys. Oh, that's the only way we can get it not played? That you only care about winning. So what would happen if one morning all the blacks and Latinos woke up and said, we don't want to play football for Refugio?
All right now.
You wouldn't win 2 games.
Sure would.
You wouldn't win 2 ball games. So, I mean, this is bigger than football.
That's
to
right.
me. This is about disrespect. And we have a problem some days, black and brown people, standing up to people that are disrespecting us.
We do.
And we need to stop that. We need to start standing up.
We do.
You know, we don't, that's why I say all the time, man, we some cowards.
Yeah, that's right. That's
We some cowards nowadays, man. We don't want to do no fighting.
That's true.
But,
No, we
and
don't
ain't that
fight, we don't
crazy? Isn't that real crazy? You think about all the people that fought before you and lost their lives. They
Yes.
were willing to risk everything to fight, to get what you have the availability of right now.
Right now.
And yet we still are in a position where, oh man, you be like, hey, let's meet up at something. Oh shoot, man, yeah, man. Hold on, man, I got this good job. What's a good job to you? Well, I'm making $50,000 a year. It's like, when in there in Houston, that's welfare pay, bro.
All right now.
Because you can't afford
I mean,
them.
if you go back to the 50s and the 60s, them making 50 G's a year was equivalent to what they were making back then. So they had good jobs too. They sacrificed their jobs.
$50,000 a year in the 50s and 60s was the equivalent of making $150,000 today. So
Probably
when you
more than that, but my issue is that we're so comfortable with where we are.
I agree.
We're
Yes,
not willing
we're
to risk anything.
the word is
to
complacent.
solve
The word is complacent.
anything.
The
We're
word is
cowards.
complacency.
We're cowards. We are cowards. And we don't want to. See, when I call you a coward, you get upset.
Yes.
Stop. Look, I accept the fact that, you know, people call me all kinds of names every day. I'm not that. But I tell you what I am. I'm Gerry Monroe. Put some respect on my name. That's what you better do. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, when it comes to issues like what's going on in Refugio, I don't care if you don't have a chapter close. Why is the NAACP not raising no hell right now?
All right.
Wait. Why you gonna throw the NAACP?
I'm just saying. Why ain't nobody saying
So,
nothing?
no. Here's the deal. Dude, I am a free spirit. I say what the hell I want to say. I'm a realist. I'm a realist. No, I'm about to give it to you.
No, I'm going to turn your mic off.
No, you can't, because I'm gonna tell you why. Here's the deal. So I asked you that question only because
Yes.
people,
Yeah. That's for everybody.
So people believe that.
That's for everybody.
So you had NAACP, you have all these organizations that are supposed to be working on behalf of the black community, right? Now, what I will tell you is that from what I've seen, not because of what I've been able to be involved in, because I'm very busy. My family comes first, my children, education. I'm in A for all day, every day.
Stop.
Then here's the deal.
How do you become a revolutionary? Clearly understanding. Did King family come first? Of course. Malcolm, Mica. See, that's where we lose it.
Yep.
They sacrificed, when you said everything, they sacrificed everything.
Yes, they did.
Now keep going. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'm gonna meet you outside the parking lot. I'm gonna handle it. You know what? All you activists that are mad at Gerry Monroe, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of him tonight. No, you have to have balance. Where they failed was balance.
Yes.
Balance.
Who failed?
No, they did fail. Don't you get it twisted. They failed.
Who?
What do you get? I'm from Mississippi, so Medgar Evers failed.
Wow.
You know why? Because at the end of the day, when you die, what continues on? Nothing.
That's not true.
I don't believe that.
So you think
we'll
because
differ on that one.
so most people would believe that because in death your album sold even more. Michael Jackson, Biggie Smalls,
So
Tupac.
you saying Mecca and these
So
guys
what I'm saying
failed?
is,
I don't
what
think
did
so.
when Barack Obama got elected, people said that Martin Luther King's dream was fulfilled, and that was an absolute lie.
No, it wasn't.
That was an absolute
his
lie.
dreams still haven't been fulfilled
The
because
fight
he
will
still
continue
got a long
on
way to
until
go.
you take what's yours. Stop asking for permission
All right.
and take what's
Hey.
yours. Live the life that is destined for
tell
you
y'all like this,
and stop
you know,
asking
Don't
for
call
permission.
me talking about doing no marching, none of that. 'Cause I
I'll
ain't,
do
I
marching.
ain't doing none of that.
I'll do
I ain't
marching.
doing none
You
of
can
that.
march on all by yourself. I ain't doing it with you.
I ain't-
You got something on your mind.
I got
All
something.
right.
wheel spinning. His eyes squinching.
Hey, hey. I'm listening to some intelligent brothers speak, but when I think about it, honestly, I always take it back to, education. I take it back to
Yes,
economics.
I take it back to
And
education too.
it's kind of disappointing to be in my district and I have to drive to Pearland to go to the grocery store.
Exactly.
Come on now.
And when I think about
Yes.
economy, why am I paying Pearland before I'm paying Houston? And that's some of the things I began to think about in my community, because you think about crime. If I'm hungry enough, I'm gonna go out there and get it.
Yes.
Simple as
That's
that,
right,
by any
simple as
means
that.
necessary.
Well, that's the same with guns. People say, well, take away the guns, right? Well, if you need a gun bad enough to commit a crime, you're
Yes.
going to find a way, right?
I believe that it's a lot to that, and I feel like I don't have a neighborhood Walmart nowhere near me, and I feel like why my neighborhood isn't good enough for a neighborhood Walmart.
Exactly.
Right, Wendy.
Why we don't have a Starbucks?
So
Come
the
on now.
first thing I'm
I
thinking
got
about,
Starbucks.
but
We
see,
Where y'all
don't.
live at?
this is the first thing I think about when I go
We in the,
to Austin.
I mean,
My trade-off is I'm willing to
Man.
give you some of this land for some of this opportunity,
he in third
because it
ward.
got to be a trade-off. There's no way I'm going to go out there and get something for nothing. So I got to be able to trade something. So my thing is I'm willing to trade some of this land we have on taxes in order to get a grocery store in our neighborhood, to get maybe a neighborhood Walmart, to get
Yes.
a Starbucks, because
Yes.
I noticed when you start having those things, things begin to change.
They do.
And it changed for the positive. Because now we don't have a food desert no more.
All
So
right
now my
now.
child, or when I say my child, I'm talking about my students, don't have to come to school hungry no more,
All right.
because they got a grocery store in the neighborhood.
But who's that grocery store for?
No, but my thing is, it's not necessarily who the grocery store is for. When I look in Sunnyside, across
Yes.
the street from the Sunnyside Multi-Purpose
Service
Center, is a Fiesta. It's not serving fresh produce.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. That's in a black community. So my thing is, when are you gonna put some fresh produce in a Fiesta in the hood?
Yes.
So those are the things that we have to think about, that our state reps and our city councilmen need to fight for, because we're not taking care of our people.
So one of the things, so I have these conversations, and I love, if you're listening, I want you to follow Brother Gerry Monroe online on
Gerry,
Facebook. I want you to follow Elvonte Patton, and follow
Yes.
myself. I want you to follow Lady Hale. I want you to follow Josh Mica. My brother over here, I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names.
Critical.
Critical from Street 100 Radio.
100.
Man, you know what? Let me tell you something. So, some very serious conversations we have right now. And you're absolutely right, Brother Elvonte. That is a problem. I live in A-Leaf. I have access to things because I'm close to
That we
Stafford.
don't.
I'm close to Missouri City. I'm close to Sugar Land. I'm close to a lot. Stafford got it, the In-N-Out burger joint. And that line's been around the corner for
What if I
ever since
tell
they
you
opened the...
that it's not really a problem for me?
Yeah.
It's a problem for my neighbor, because my neighbor doesn't have a car.
Exactly.
I can
He
drive
can't get that. So
to
that's what
Pearland.
I'm
They
speaking
can't.
to. So here's the deal. So Katie got one, and so did Stafford. So here's the problem. Let me tell you where your problem lies. Your problem lies with your mayor and city council, because they did not negotiate well, or they did not actually work with those individuals,
I
those
disagree.
companies, to get them in. So Stafford,
disagree.
here's what Stafford did. Stafford has the lowest property tax, along with Meadows Place, in the Houston metro area. People can afford homes in Stafford and Meadows Place without a problem, because property tax. So your principal and interest could easily be $800, right?
Correct.
Equivalent to the average rent. But once you add in escrow, which includes the school district, the ISD in your district. So Stafford has a municipal school district. A-Leaf, we have an ISD. So
Yes.
they're about $2,500, $2,600 of our escrow payment Then you have Harris County Flood District, City of Houston. You have.
Why can't you make it simple and just put it on my back? Let me go to Austin and get some of these tax breaks and come back and give you a grocery store. I don't have to go to the mayor.
But
you can put that on my back and give me something to fight for.
Here's the deal.
like that.
But there are people before you that had that just as well, that were sent there for a reason.
But we're not going to talk about what was before. I always say that.
But
Let's
you
not
have
talk
to,
about,
and
no,
I'll
I'm
tell
talking
you
about
why.
right
Because
now,
what people are
the next session is getting ready to come.
Yes,
87
yes, yes.
legislature.
So we can't talk about what wasn't done. So I'm telling you, put that on my back, and
All
I'm
right.
going to go out there and fight for your
Hold
grocery
you
store.
accountable.
Please do, because I feel
Yes.
like at the end of the day, I'm only as good as the people I'm serving.
You're right.
So if I can't serve you properly, I shouldn't be in that seat.
But the problem is, Elvonte, and
You tell me about the problem, tell me about the
I feel
solution.
you. So I'm gonna tell you the problem. I'm gonna tell you the solution.
Okay.
So the problem is that people have been burnt 10 times over. They've been sending people to Austin and to Washington, expecting.
You know who they've been burnt by? They've been burnt by their neighbor that told them to go vote for a particular person that's been in that seat for over 16 years. That's the problem.
But they've been told by that person too, because you got clowns. Let's stop.
We've been told that you
got
can't
clowns
run.
that are out here that are doing things individually for people, and those same people are sitting there clapping for clowns
No,
like a one big
Mr.
circus
Monroe,
with no ringmaster.
Mr. Monroe, Mr. Williams is watching. But what they tell me is, I need money to run. That's what they tell me. They say if you don't make enough money out here raising
can't
enough
run.
money, you can't run because you're not going to be able to beat nobody. I beg to
That's a
differ.
lie.
Come
That's
on
a lie.
now.
Because
That's a lie.
if I do my research properly, I understand that people and time equals money.
Come on now.
So if I get enough people behind me with enough time, I have
Give
enough
them
money. So my thing is, we have to begin to understand that when it comes down to it, we have to begin to think a little different. Because if we're going to say a traditional politician, yeah, you're right, I don't have enough money to represent you. However, I got the heart to represent you.
Yes.
And if I can get enough people behind me, we can do some great things.
But how do
Right.
you do that?
How do you do that? You create a message that people believe
say,
in.
Man, they need to stop playing and just get behind something different. So
Yes.
if we sitting here talking about a community that's been underserved for 16, 20
Try
years,
somebody different.
how long we gotta wait?
It's time for something different.
Something
can't wait.
different, some fresh.
That's exactly.
We can't
So
wait.
what
They
you
can't
got?
wait
So
no more.
don't take my question as opposition.
baby
What I'm
here.
trying to get you to do is say
Just hear it.
specifically certain things so that people listening, watching can understand what we truly need to move forward.
I'm like Google though. If you don't ask Google the right questions, you don't get the right answers.
That's
right.
right.
That's
Sometimes
right.
you ask serious questions, you don't get what you want.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the realization. So there's people out here. There's Elvonte Patton. There's Anton Dowls. There's Gerry Monroe. There's my brother over here for Street. Dude, you guys got to listen. If you don't listen, Street 100,
Yes.
100, I promise you, you're missing out. Because when I went there, when I was running for mayor, you know, my brother tried to put me on. He tried to put me on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get me, brother Monroe. Because at the end of the day, you know what matters to me is all the underserved, the disadvantaged, disenfranchised individuals of this
Say,
city.
man, them people.
You know
Why
what?
we won't call a spade a spade?
Call a spade a spade.
Because we ain't
keep
playing cards right
electing
now.
criminals. We keep electing the problem.
But he just told me. He just told me, how do you do it, right? The first thing I think about, right? My grandmother doesn't really do political research no more. She'd call me, what do you think?
What you think?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
My
What you
thing is,
think?
if I
You're
can get
right.
enough young people to
Yeah.
get on my team and
they'll
tell their
tell
grandmother,
grandparents
hey,
and me,
Mr.
yeah.
Patton is who we need, I guarantee you that vote will change.
And guess what they do behind Mr. Patton back? They try to slide through on the young people. Oh, that nigga crazy.
Yep.
We got a phone call?
That's what they do.
Did somebody call in? Oh my God. You know what? I've been waiting for somebody to call in because here's the deal. The problem is that people don't address issues head on.
What was your question?
You had it with DJ Game Tight.
How
I want people
would you
to call in.
Sorry, y'all call in again. I'm sorry.
The phone number is 281-318-8650. Once again, that number to call in to ask these amazing brothers and this amazing host of ours, Lady Hale, a question is 281-318-8650.
All right, we're ready. Hey, Bridget.
Look, man,
Hold
let
on.
me see if we can.
Let her answer the phone. The nails too long.
Okay. Okay, caller, you're on the air with Real Talk with Lady Hale. How can I help you?
This is Donovan. Can you hear me?
Hey, Donovan.
Donovan Boson. Is that Mr. Boson?
What's your last name, Donovan?
Oh,
Yeah.
Brother?
good. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How's the campaign going?
Man, it is going well, and I definitely agree with everything that you said in terms of like, things of that nature. We actually have to get to one thing for you, another thing. One thing for them today, you know, people look aside and what's really going on. So like I spoke to a couple of people that won't call their names. I spoke to a couple of people, and they were like, you know, Miss Jackson is a very outstanding person, and she's done something personally for me. And I said, well, you know, that's what a company person is supposed to do. But I said, what about your Christian, right? I'm calling you just to say, the conversation. And you have people who are 45% of people think make $26,000. And that's a problem. And so my thing is, yes, she may have done one person, but what about the conservation, right? So I agree with watching. Like, it's not about the money, because for me,
He
I
said
would like
agree
to
with you,
go
it's not about the
and
money.
get my 3800 signatures opposed to paying $3800.
Hey, Donovan, not to cut you off, I want us to think back about these races we just saw. We had Raj raised over,
Yes.
what, $250,000?
He sure did.
And took an L. So money can't mean everything.
No.
If
No.
you was talking about money, he was an
can't.
automatic in the door. But to go back to the question that was just asked was, how do you get young people involved with politics and get them out to vote? Me personally, I believe it's someone that looks like them and has the same issues as them.
Yes.
To be honest, it's not too many politicians that I can look at and truly say that I can relate to them and I like them because they're talking my language.
Yes.
So when I began to look at a Brad Jordan that can speak my language, it
Yes.
makes me want to go vote. The problem I seen with his race was he didn't have enough time to register people that think like him and talk like him.
That's right.
Now, if he would have had the time to register those individuals, it would have been a different story.
Yes.
So for me, I believe that when I'm looking at my district being 65% under the age of 40, I feel like I got a great chance.
Yes.
And all I have to do is begin to speak the language that they speak, and they will begin to come and volunteer for this campaign and hit these streets with me,
Yes.
and knock on these doors with me and talk to this community, because that's what it's going to take to win. So that's what I'm doing.
All right.
I just think they ain't got nothing to do with you.
Uh-oh.
I'm
on the hot seat.
comfortable. You know, I'm standing at the polls. I'm out there grinding
Yes.
for space. And I'm watching that demographic of people just drive by the polls. I'm watching them walk by the polls.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see this demographic of people, when there's a hurricane, they need the most help.
True.
And I started just thinking, I need to talk to a legislator. I need a bill written. If you're going to be on public assistance, you need to vote.
I
You
agree.
shouldn't even get public
I
assistance
agree.
if
They're not
gonna
going to do that for you.
No, I don't care.
You know why they're not going to do that for you?
That make too much sense.
And it's going to hurt a lot of politicians.
Exactly. I know, but
Well, that's true.
here's my thing. The people that we need to vote for us, then that you just said it. And there's been a lot of guys that have come before you that have had that
Hey,
same
Malcolm.
ideology.
Right.
Yes.
You know, they've had that same ideology.
Yes.
Travis McGee was a great candidate.
Yes.
Larry McKenzie was a great candidate.
Yes.
They didn't have the money.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? They tried all they could try.
Yes.
But these people will not vote for the right people.
Yes.
Either they ain't voting or they voting for the wrong people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then we keep trying to figure out, what do we need to do to fix it? I'm looking
Yes.
at one of the solutions right here with you.
Right.
It's simple.
Yes.
No knock against your opponent. 16 years.
Yes.
Look at where we at 16 years later.
Yeah.
Why do I need to keep voting for this?
Mm-hmm.
You can't explain to me what you've done in 16 years. I'm gonna give you an example.
Okay.
You know, everybody when Turner won. Oh, thank you.
Communion.
Welcome to Real Talk 100.
When Turner won.
Miss Lisa just bought everybody's slushes.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
When
We don't
Turner.
call them slushy.
Okay,
We call them beverages.
Okay, let's go back to what we want. When Turner won, everybody started saying on Facebook, they're so happy that he won, he can continue the good work that he's done.
Wait, hold on. Let me stop you, brother. Hold on.
Speak that truth.
Good work
Speak that
that
truth.
he's done. The good work. So let me stop you because that's some BS.
Speak that truth.
Okay, but if you allow me to finish,
But I
you think I'm
can't
gonna
because
ask you?
because
that
my
truth.
my feathers got ruffled.
What I'm
Hey,
asking,
Feathers got ruffled because I see a city in turmoil.
what I can ask is this:
You
we're
want to take
so
them
hung
outside?
up on having a
Yeah,
black.
y'all sit outside.
Y'all are too loud for my baby.
We're so hung up on having a black mayor that we will start telling lies with our eyes open.
Oh.
What good things has this man done?
Tell me. I want to
He
know.
fixed one pothole.
Stop.
No, I'm dead serious.
I'm just saying.
But
Because this is a serious issue. We got
But
4
you know
more
the
years in
answer
this.
to that,
that's
brother.
right. And the thing.
What has he done?
Nothing.
Absolutely none.
All right,
Now
Mr.
take that with you.
Critical.
You know,
Yes.
Take that with you.
And the thing about the mayoral race, you know, it was pretty much a setup, you know, because if it was a lose-lose situation. You know what I'm saying? How I look at it, it was a lose-lose situation. And we get 4 more years of Houston flooding and everybody losing everything all over again, constantly dealing with the messed up school system.
But he had no real control over the school system. What I would tell you, but
He
hold up before
he
you
had
go.
more, he had
Here's
more
what I'm gonna
influence
say.
and control than
doesn't
anybody.
have
He
full control over it, but he has a
for him
voice.
to be like,
Okay, but
for
he-
him to be the
he
mayor of
seemed to-
Houston, he is like the president of the United States
So
to us.
so he
you
had
know,
no
and he's not
control-
doing anything for
No
us.
control over the school system, but yet this was the same man that was willing to take control of 11 of our schools. Come on, talk to me,
That's
man.
right.
Yeah.
Take control of 11 of your schools by having those individuals on
What
the
I've
board.
asked, and I've
vote
never
towards
gotten an
going
answer
to
for
charter
the
schools.
whole election season. What I've asked is, what has this man done?
He hasn't done shit. But so, here's I'm sorry.
Yeah, he ain't did
The
nothing.
truth hurts.
One more
out.
time, I'm cutting your mic off.
So here's the deal. So we can all agree that Mayor Turner getting
One more
reelected
time,
was
and he outta
the lesser of 2 evils. But
Yes.
at the end of the day,
You know, because
here's
I can deal with another messed up nigga than I can a KK member. You know, and that's just me. My
That's your personal
opinion, you know, my personal views, but that's how I feel. You know,
Yes.
that's you know, and
so
that's, you know,
so
that's
in
just what it
softer
is.
terms, you can deal with a black man mess you over more so than somebody that's destined to
No, I
harm you
can't.
incompletely.
No.
I can't.
I understand, Jerry, because here's the deal. I hold you when you look like me to the highest of standards
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
I believe that you should be on the forefront of change and highest of expectations because you should know the need of our community. And therefore, when you go out, your wheels are turning, aren't they, Elvonte?
So I'm sorry. But we're not really thinking about what Mr. Gerry Monroe is saying. It takes me back to a conversation. And it took me back to someone called me and said, man, I was just driving down the street. I don't see no black construction workers.
True.
That's
Yeah.
what this conversation is reminding me of. It's deeper
Yes.
than just education, just in Houston.
Exactly.
But that's what we have to begin to understand, that economic development should start with black construction workers and companies. They're
I
out
agree.
there. Why aren't they
Why
working
aren't
on
we
these
using
streets?
Why are they getting those
Oh,
contracts?
Why they don't have the
No, oh, the
contract?
funny thing is, on Mica Leland and Barbara Jordan's freeway, why ain't no black people working out there, but it's named after some black people? Because we satisfied
Alright.
with just
But
having the
then
black
you
name of
go,
highway,
you go
right?
hire the same people that you sicking ice on every day. Oh, they don't want me to tell the truth. I asked the question, And I've been asking it. I asked it to candidates. I ain't never got an answer.
So
I done asked it to people on the street. I ain't never got an answer. I asked it the whole political scene. What has Turner done
You can't
that was positive?
You can't get answers from people that's not willing to do the research to understand.
well,
Yeah,
not
you
only
gotta do
that,
no
but I'm gonna tell
research.
you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you, brother, something. The reason why I would never be on board with the current administration and even reelected is because when I first moved, when we knew we were moving to Houston, I decided to versus run our business was to find a job. I'm a CDL driver, and I applied for solid waste, right? I got the emails. I never got an interview. My resume is 6 pages long. I've owned businesses. I've done a lot. I have experience. I can get
I'm
any
not
job.
going to talk about.
So here's the deal. Come to find out, after having some serious conversations, putting myself in the right circles, I find out we're short 50 CDL drivers.
Yes.
Okay.
50. How the hell am I not getting a job that makes $15 an hour
Because
based upon the fact that we are short drivers in a situation where people are not getting their trash and recyclables picked up, and our drivers are out till 10 o'clock at night.
So what's your point?
So my point
You don't
is,
have a point.
one, I have a
You
point.
don't. You are out of
Why
here.
did you clowns support the re-election of a mayor that truly has not truly proved himself?
Because he was black.
Yeah,
In the black community, that's
exactly,
the only reason.
exactly, and that's what I've been telling everybody
I
since.
disagree.
Okay.
Go ahead, Elvonte.
Black people didn't put Mayor Turner back in
I
office.
clearly get that, but the black community
But the
felt
map
good.
shows he did. They
But
did.
no, what you
by
have,
not getting out and vote.
what you
Right.
have,
But like
what
I
you
say, it
have
was a
to
lose-lose situation.
What you have to understand
Yeah.
is
You know,
the-
it was a lose-lose
the
situation.
issue we're talking
man.
about. To me,
You know, and that's bad for.
Let him
Oh,
go
no,
and
no,
answer.
no,
Let him
you
go and
got it,
answer.
you
Go
got
ahead,
No, no, go
Elvonte.
ahead, go ahead.
when I'm looking at some of the shortfalls, is why aren't black people good enough to sit at the top? Because everybody he appointed, none of them of our color.
Exactly.
They are of color,
Exactly.
but not our color.
Yes.
So those is some of the things I began to look at, because yes, you have some African Americans that's working at the bottom level, or maybe even a mid level,
Yes.
but upper level
No.
there is none.
No.
And if you do have those individuals,
You don't. They're interns.
they don't.
No, I'm just
and mentally, they're not black. Mentally.
All right.
so that's why I say you have to be careful
And
using
I'm-
the
and
word
I want-
diversity.
I want everybody to understand
Because-
I'm not picking on Turner.
Well,
I'm
he's the mayor
speaking
for
the
4
truth.
years, so it
That
doesn't
this
matter.
guy has done nothing.
I'm not gonna say that.
What he done? What he did? I'm
Well,
waiting.
most would bring up the pension thing.
So I'm not gonna say
The
that.
pension thing for many people would be a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he hasn't done anything. Now the thing
But
is,
you've not
he
answered.
might not have done.
What
anything.
has he
No,
done?
I think the
He
right
might not have
question. No,
done
no.
anything
Here,
for
let me
us.
stop you real quick. The right question. You know how in iRobot,
I told you Google.
in iRobot. No, think about it. In iRobot, when Will Smith went to talk to the scientists and he
Yes.
kept giving them those weird responses because he didn't ask the right question. Here's the right question. What has Mayor Turner done for his clique of followers that you can't get as a normal everyday person? Because you got a lot of people that will swear and follow him to the depths of hell
He ain't.
because
Let me ask you a
of
question.
everything that he's done for them
Now,
individually.
we standing at the polls and people are saying, I'm not voting for Kubash.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why? Oh, he's a white Republican. Let me stop you.
That's right.
What you mean, Mr. Monroe? He's a white Republican. That white Republican is the reason that them red light cameras ain't working no more.
Come on now.
Exactly, that's right.
That white Republican
That's
is the
right.
one that fought to get them body cams on them cops.
Mm-hmm.
So when I ask a simple question,
I like red
They
light
don't
cameras.
even know.
I get everybody going around a corner on me.
I like
what
red
has
light
Turner
cameras, I'm telling you
done?
that.
Okay, we can't figure that out. So what's the
All
next
right.
subject?
Next
He's
subject.
trash.
So,
He put money in
so
his pocket.
I like red light cams, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't like seeing people hurt. And the people
you
run
drive
lights
too
here.
fast anyway.
People run lights a lot
You said
around
like
here for
you.
some reason. It's like, what light? It's like what light?
Yeah, but
But
when,
people got-
when
People got hurt when they
them,
was working.
yeah,
It's
but
like-
when them
there's
lights
a
was
book-
crashing and they had them cameras out there, they ain't show none of that on the news.
But
All right.
if
But
you're gonna,
what
if
we
we're gonna
had
talk about red
what we
light
had in
cameras,
Arizona was
you're
they
gonna
put
talk
them
about
on
red light
highways, they
cameras,
had them on streets.
you have to go
Talk one
based
at a
off
time.
of research. And research shown that when the cameras were working, there was more accidents happening.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
People
That
was
tells you
trying
how
to,
bad
you know,
y'all drivers are.
So-
Because in other states, the research shows something totally different.
Well, you need to go back to Kansas
No.
City then.
No, that wasn't Kansas City. Kansas City don't even need them. That's crazy. People don't run lights in
Go back
Kansas
to
City.
Mississippi.
All
we
I'm
here.
saying
We
is
good.
when you speak, see, if I'm out there and I'm trying to promote Elvonte, I'm out there
Yes.
trying to get somebody to vote for him.
Yes.
I can speak his platform, but
Yes.
it's easier for me to speak for him because I worked with him.
Right.
I know what
And
he's
you believe
doing.
in him.
I got a whole mayor downtown that can't nobody answer that question. What has he done? In the black community, you only wanted him because he was black. You didn't care that he was corrupt. You
Exactly.
didn't care that he left us hanging during these floods.
That's right.
Now, I can't blame him for the
That's right.
first flood. But you going to take that L on that second flood.
Yeah, exactly. Because it
You
You
was
going to take that L on
already.
that second flood.
Yeah, that's
You said
right.
you gonna take it on that
Because
second
the
one.
first one should have prepared you
For the
for the second one.
Yep.
You know, you got all these people who still ain't got their houses fixed.
All right now.
Exactly. A whole
And
lot
I'm
of
one
people, a
of them.
whole lot of elderly people, you know,
Yeah.
And
and
then
it's
when
ridiculous.
people like, they start talking about the budget.
Yes.
Well, he had to take the fireman's pension to balance the budget.
Hey, and,
I
and,
say,
and that's
but do you understand that their pension takes the place of your Social Security?
True.
So when I look at a fireman standing out there with a Busby sign, I can't be mad at him or her because
that's
she's
right.
lost $350,000 of her
Exactly.
pension.
That's a lot of money.
exactly.
And I talked to I have a firefighter friend. I love him to death. We have some very serious conversations. We don't mesh on every detail, but we have some very good conversations. And one of the things that he's concerned with is his pension, because if you think about it,
Yeah,
people.
you
I was blind. I was blind, and I'm honest about everything when I failed. I thought, like most people, that firefighters didn't have to do a whole lot. That they
Yes,
were just
they
at the
do.
fire
No.
station.
Get out there and have a record and be waiting for one of them HPDs
Yeah,
to
yeah.
come
No,
hit
the
you
fire
off the
truck.
mouth and see what happened to
So
you.
I went to a fire
Fireman's
station.
coming
They invited
They
me.
coming first.
So they invited me out, and I took my kids because they had been asking to go by the fire station, hang out, and see the trucks and stuff up front. So we went, and thank you to all the firefighters of Station 44. They showed my kids an amazing time and let them try on their uniforms, their
Right.
equipment, and everything, and so it was a great time. But we learned what they really do on a daily basis. They have schedules of cleaning
Yes.
and checking
Yeah, exactly.
equipment and
They
doing
got a lot
everything,
of work to
cutting
do.
grass and everything, and the schedule
So
of
do
things.
you believe him messing with their pension was about the budget? Or was it personal?
I think that realistically, based upon what I learned about the 2005 surrender by the police officers of their pension and the firefighters holding back, was personal by our mayor and did not serve the best interests of the people. So let's speak to that. Now, when I want people to stop saying one thing, stop saying the firefighters. Let's talk about the Houston Firefighters Union, the Firefighter Association. You got your president Marty Langton, who ultimately is sitting there causing this discord, right? Because people want to blame the firefighters for everything. I don't want to blame firefighters for everything
Why
because
would you consider it causing discord?
because at the
He's
end
fighting for them.
no, hold on.
Anton, hold
Both
on.
of them, no. Trust me, I'm a former union rep. I understand collective bargaining beyond measure. It's family rooted. My father's a union rep. My grandfather, I was a union rep. When it comes to collective bargaining, there's a certain way that things are supposed to go, and both the mayor and the firefighters union failed to do it according to how the law forces you to do things.
Hold your
All right,
thought.
Malcolm.
Everybody hold your thought. I just wanted you to reintroduce the topic because I just went live and I want everybody to know what we're talking about.
Hey y'all, this is Real Talk with Lady Hale, and I have some amazing, young, fabulous, smart brothers, all except one. But anyway, I have.
Don't talk about Jerry Monroe
I
like
love
that. He
Mr.
don't like
Jerry
that.
Monroe. That's my
He don't get you in the parking
friend. I
lot.
got Critical on here, and I got this educated brother over here,
Elvonte Patton in the house.
And then you got Lady Hale, and we got Malcolm, and that's it. Go ahead.
Word.
And the
Mr. Anton. Well, we started with education. We talked about the gangs. The next day we're going to talk about sex trafficking and organ harvesting. We're going to talk about that
In other countries or here?
here.
Because it's higher in other countries.
We're here. We're not in other countries. We're
But,
here.
but at the end of it, so let's go back to
Okay,
this. Let's go
Mr.
back to this.
Who else?
So based upon collective bargaining, there are certain
Anton,
ways that
listen
you're
up.
supposed to. There's a
Somebody
direct
say
way
you
that
are not,
supposed to
you're
attack,
missing the whole
if you
point,
can't agree on the
Anton.
contract, right? You have to then go
I told
to
him,
what?
Lanisha.
Arbitration. Where they failed was the
They
fire
say you
department
missing the
went
whole
to
point, Anton.
going to get signatures
He not
to try
listening to
to
me,
force the mayor's
They
hand.
haven't.
You can't do that. That's unlawful. And what?
That's
and
not
what
unlawful.
It is unlawful.
Look at his
What do you mean
face.
it's unlawful?
Look at his face.
So going to deviate from how the
Look,
contract.
look, look.
So the contract you signed.
So what happened was
So the, no.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question. So the contract you signed said that you will handle something, a disagreement, a certain way, and you go and deviate is not unlawful. That's absolute lie.
no. What they did was they went out and got signatures for the voters to choose.
Mr. Monroe.
You can do that.
But you don't.
That's lawful.
But
So
what
if
the
you
question-
sign the contract,
the
if you sign the contract saying that you will handle
Anton,
disagreements a
the
certain
reason
way,
they
So y'all
The
good for
con-
calling
the
y'all each
collective
other
bar-
the wrong names?
Anton,
No.
the reason that they went out and they got the
That's how they know
signatures,
each other.
the reason, tell me if I'm wrong, Elvonte, the reason that they went out and got the signatures
Right.
is because that's what he told them they needed to do.
Yes. In order to
He
get it
didn't
on the
think they would
ballot.
pull it off.
And they did.
and he didn't know either.
No. In order to get them on the ballot, the
For
issue
what?
on the ballot.
Why would you tell them to do something
no,
that was
but-
outside
no.
of the scope of the contract?
No, you said
Y'all
contract versus law.
Lanisha, put
So
So the
you
contract
look at-
is law.
No,
when
no,
you sign
but
the
when-
contract, it's admissible in court and it is to
But
be.
this is the thing. That's talking about a contract between me and you. But then when we signed that petition, it made it where the voters can choose for me to get that or not.
And he was dumb enough to have a. Let me hear. So stop before you ask me any questions. Let me explain.
It wasn't
Let me
him.
explain.
It wasn't
Let me
him.
explain.
It was
so
actually
collective,
in this party.
so collective
That
bargaining
was in
says
this
one
party
thing.
issue.
So the contract says
Thank
one
you,
thing.
Jessica.
It says that this is how we will handle
Girl,
disagreements,
Anton over here, girl.
and we
Get
will
him,
honor
Jessica.
that. The problem is the mayor believed that the people of Houston would not agree with the firefighters, and he sent them on what he thought was a no-win situation. The problem is voters said, "Hey, yeah, we want that.
Okay,
you
once they
deserve
said
that."
that, what's the
And
problem?
then, so no, hold on. Let me
You want
fully
to
explain.
okay.
So then, what the problem then, once they voted yes in
Yes, you do.
high
Check
numbers,
that job.
all of a sudden it's a problem. Now, what the
The
now,
viewers say,
now
can you give
beyond
other
that,
people a chance to talk?
now, once the
Uh-oh.
mayor, now here's the deal. Once the mayor
put
started
his
to
mic off.
negotiate and said, well, we'll do it within this time frame, with this level, blah, blah, blah. If the firefighter union had agreed, it would have solidified Prop B and made it part of the city charter.
Yes, Lanisha.
And that's where they failed because they did not go ahead and agree and then establish this pay parity for forever.
Yes.
Trust me, I understand collective.
You had
I
something to
read
say,
when I
Crystal?
was a union rep
we
for
gonna let you say
AT&T.
something.
I get that,
I
but do
fought
you
for.
understand this
I fought for people. No, I'm fighting for people. I lost my. Let's talk about it. I lost my job fighting for people.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Because
that.
and that's okay, and I'm very
Anton,
well
the
happy
only
for
thing
it
I'm saying
because
is
I
when it
I
comes
knew
to
what
Turner-
page
when it
you
comes-
can go to refer
Anton.
to the information.
Anton,
No,
you're
you're
doing-
not gonna talk to me like
You're
you talk to
doing
those
what other
advocates,
people
brother.
do. When it comes to
Your
Turner,
mic off.
when it comes to
His mic
Turner,
is off.
we try to soften the blow.
Yeah, that's right.
He
That's
weak or
true.
something? Y'all
That's
think he
true.
weak or something?
You started off criticizing the firefighter
I'm
union
criticizing
president.
everybody across the board.
You know, and my thing, the thing about the firefighters, why would you deny the people that are most important to the city that's gonna run in those hostile environments to save?
Not necessarily
So
hostile.
not necessarily hostile,
when the hurricane
but they're
comes,
important.
the
They're
law-
important.
Yeah, very important.
important,
You know,
very,
because
very important.
because
Because solid
the
waste is
hurricane come,
important.
They placed
Everybody
in a,
that-
you
Hey, guess
know.
what I just found out, you guys?
What?
I'm number 2 on the ballot.
Woo!
Hey man, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
Yeah.
You're number one.
Y'all talking about stuff that already happened, but I'm not still on the ballot.
Okay,
On the Elvonte Patton.
Tell Jaja go sleep or something.
you know, and not to get out the
But no,
subject, but I do
brother,
have a
congratulations,
question for you.
brother.
Let
That's a
everybody
big
else
deal.
talk.
So people,
The viewers are saying you're not letting everybody talk. So
is?
viewers, you're not.
Question
Oh,
is,
them is women.
it don't matter.
Yes, they don't.
Wait a minute.
Oh no. Oh no, sorry.
It's below.
You know
You
what?
better apologize.
No, I'm not gonna apologize.
Yes, you
because
are.
Y'all gonna sit here and not
Who is
let me.
y'all? You talking about women,
you
and we
know,
love you.
Anton's this is Anton's.
He has a question for me.
Come on.
Because let me explain to you
Yes,
something.
Anton, come on.
I love
Somebody
you.
have a
So
question.
let
No,
me
you
stop.
need
Let me
to
stop.
go to bed.
So here's the deal. I love you all. I
We
do.
love you too.
Dude, brother. You
Okay.
know, we suffer
Thank you,
from the
Harold.
same issue, and I reach out to you. You, my brother.
Yes.
You reach out to me when you decide to run, brother. I love you. Malcolm here, Real Talk 100
Yes.
Radio when I was running
Is
for
that
mayor.
Slushy talking to you?
No.
Yes.
No, just playing.
No,
Yes, that's a slushy.
special slushy.
What's your point?
Oh.
But
Mr.
no,
Monroe said,
so
"Let
no, I will tell you something. So, and a lot of people will never get to know me for real, for real. My name is Anton Dowls, and I spend a large percentage of the money I made in my lifetime helping our people.
that's right.
I had at a point I had the ability to call and have you released from jail on a signature bond. I had the ability to call the prosecutor and have their charges dropped in Kansas City and abroad.
We're in Texas.
Yeah, Texas is a whole different animal.
But
I'm gonna tell you,
why not do that here though?
I tried, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's been quite challenging, and you saw me here. I was very emotional about it. I love my black people.
That's right.
But I love everybody more
I
than
don't.
anything else.
That's it.
But what I'm gonna tell you, and it's starting to affect me now, because here's the deal.
I tolerate them.
At the end of the day, we are our own worst enemy. Because with the conversation I had on the way here with a very prominent individual, you know him,
Okay,
you
come
know
on
him,
with
is that we can't work together.
Okay.
Stop right there, man.
Hold on.
Wait a minute,
No,
hold
don't you
on,
stop
hold
there
on.
right there, you butt.
I've given
Because
you the floor. I've
no,
given you the floor.
no,
Right,
because
let
hold
him
on.
talk,
Let me
Anton.
tell you, hold on,
Misconception.
real quick, because I got
This
it.
misconception that we have to work together.
We do
I
have to work
can't
together.
work with you if we're not on the same page.
I
But
I
you
agree.
need
can't
to
work
find
with
the
you
common
if I'm
ground.
5 years ahead of you and you
Right.
still talking about this foolishness. I don't have time to waste. We
But you-
cannot work
but the
together.
problem-
We don't have to.
No,
I've
no.
moved mountains.
This is where I
Let's get
disagree,
this straight.
brother. This is
No,
where I
let me- if you
disagree.
will-
One
allow
at a
me,
time,
I've
one at a
listened to
time.
I've moved mountains in the Houston Independent School District by myself. Nobody would help me. What's inside of me pushed me. Watching these kids suffer pushed me.
Yes.
I didn't need nobody to help me. You become the biggest pit in the litter when you get out here and you do the work. Stop
Yes.
waiting on people to come
Get
and
out and
help
do
you.
the work.
Fred Hampton didn't wait for nobody to come and help him. Brother Malcolm wasn't screaming for nobody to help him. They just knew the work needed to be done.
Yes.
And we are sitting here thinking that the bougie Negro gonna work with the Southside Negro.
No, they
That ain't
not.
gonna happen.
They ain't working with us.
It ain't that the Southside Negro don't want to work with the McGregor bougie Negro.
That's right.
The McGregor bougie Negro don't want to work with them.
us.
Yeah.
They don't want to work with us.
So if nobody wants to work with you, oh, we just shouldn't work, huh? No.
But see, it's not about that, brother. Let me explain real quick.
Wait a minute.
Because
Wait a minute.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Gerry Monroe. I'm the executive director of the UUAA.
Yes,
and
yes.
all I'm saying is at the end of the day, if nobody wants to work with me, I still got to do the work.
Still got to get
Nobody-
done.
but see,
And it's
nobody's just-
it's like people devalue the work that we do because we ain't came together. Be honest with yourself. Y'all know me on a personal level.
Yes.
Who you know want to work with me?
Nobody.
I'm a revolutionary. I kick those in, man.
That's right.
You know I'm a
But here's the.
I'm out
I'm there.
last night.
But-
I'm there.
I'm out
So-
in Refugio, Texas.
Yep.
If you go look at the video, I told these people, and I'm by myself. Y'all don't wear your uniform in public. What's your uniform?
It's a hood with your eyes cut out.
The sheet with the eyes cut
Come
out.
on.
Yeah.
Now who in here want to stand next to me when I say it?
We standing.
So hold on.
That's
Hey,
real
well, y'all
loud.
get-
That's what I'm talking about.
Before you get to clapping,
Hey, that's real right there.
no, hold on. Before you go,
I didn't mean to scream.
brother.
You good.
So brother Monroe, I take hits from people in our community left and right because I don't think like them, I don't act like them, and I don't speak like them, and I definitely support you in your actions. I follow you and
Yes.
communicate with you because I know that you are outside the box thinker.
I'll
Good
ask
job
you.
done.
Hold on.
Say
So don't get it twisted. I will ride with you, brother.
So you
I'll ride
I
too.
will.
So you
Hold on. You get too
Antoine,
far, me, brother. I'm
Antoine.
gonna ride over
So
you.
you gonna stand next to me last night when I make the final comment, right?
Dude, when you sat there,
When I
watched
said
that
God
video.
don't make niggas in a room full of white folks.
Dude, I would have been right there clapping.
Come on, man.
You think I'm playing? I'm for real. You don't understand for
so-
real.
so
Well,
now-
hold on.
okay,
You see, that's the
Antoine, what I'm
problem.
saying,
Is that you're loud
Antoine.
but you about as bad as the other activists. That you're loud and nobody can get over you. Well, let me explain something to you, brother. I love you. I do. But, I do. So I'm gonna give it to you real, man. So nobody here in Houston has ever heard it from me like this.
Hold on one minute.
We got a ton of fucking clowns. Let's give me that mic.
No,
You gotta-
no.
We got a ton of clowns in the
No,
circus.
this is a family show.
Okay, family show.
You are
Okay,
out.
so we have a ton of clowns in the
Thank
circus. Right?
Okay.
Who is going to be the
Don't let him get
ringmaster?
under
Except the fact that I'm the ringmaster. I'm the 5-star general.
So
line up behind me.
So no, I'm not gonna say because
Exactly.
I'm not a follower.
We don't
so I'm
wanna
gonna
accept-
stand beside you
Okay.
and work
Let me try this a
collectively
different way.
to help you
No,
to
Antoine,
to
you
get
should-
what
Anton,
the point you want to put
Anton,
across.
you see, when I took my seat, when I sat on my throne, you asked who's going to lead us. So I sat on my throne.
Yes.
Now you got to play your position.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And
I
now
don't
you
play
don't want to
position.
play your position.
And Elvonte don't play
No.
his position because his
Because-
eyes are
No,
switched.
because in certain situations, he has to be the 5-star.
That's right.
So I gotta line up behind him.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has a different arena.
Yeah.
When it comes to fighting a school system,
But that's where we became a partnership.
exactly.
Right.
When we began to understand that we
But-
agree
but
on
I-
different terms, that he's gonna fight a
Yes, he's
different
serious.
fight that I'm gonna
so
fight.
here's my question because once again,
Ask me the question. I'm ready.
So Gerry, I love you.
I
but
don't
you know
want
I
to
do.
lose.
Oh,
You do want my love, brother. Punch in your belly.
Ask the question.
So here's the deal. Everybody in this room has had their share of disheartening circumstances and situations that have brought them up and down consistently, right? And
Yes.
we've all fought a extenuating fault, right? But
Look,
fight,
man,
right?
I
Here's
really
the- hold
love
on,
him, man.
you
Ask
talk-
the question.
You can't talk. You can't over talk everybody. I'm not.
Just
No,
ask
You're the
I'm
one
not
over
gonna-
talking to everybody.
no,
Yes,
I'm
you
not,
are.
because he has a tendency, and I
Tendency to what?
to ultimately not give everybody space.
Because
Because he wants to take all the space.
No, the people on here saying you're the one not giving people. Nobody
You
says
know what? Guess what?
Ask the question.
You know what? My question is ultimately relevant.
What is
And
the
this is
question?
Anton's last month in Texas, and my
No,
family
you don't have to
Texas,
ask
where you going?
We're leaving.
Atlanta.
Oh.
You going there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, what I realized based upon the millions of dollars that I have personally put into communities, and then on top of that, coming here being told that you are not relevant because you're not from Texas, has really kind of sullied the whole idea.
So what you gonna say when you get to
Okay.
ATL?
So what I would tell you
that-
is every day when I go to sit at an A-Leaf ISD school to try to
Just-
understand
Who?
what the teachers
The
are
lady.
dealing with, what
Okay,
the students
I'll
are
be
dealing
ready.
with, so I can better help education in my arena and where my kids go and where my
All
community's
right.
kids
Okay.
go.
All
what I
right.
would tell you is
Okay,
that
can I
what
get
found is people
everyone's
did not.
Attention.
we are getting ready to close because we have the next group coming in. I'm going to get everyone to say their last. Go ahead, Mr. Elvonte, your last words.
I'll say, okay, so I'm Mr. Patton.
Yes.
I'm running for Harris County. I'm tripping. I'm running for state rep. That was the last seat. I'm running for state rep.
Okay.
District 131.
Okay.
Please support, and I'm looking forward to having you guys go to the poll and vote for me. So please follow me on Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram, Elvonte Patton. Thank you for allowing me to come on your show.
Thank you
and I
so
appreciate
much.
it.
Mr. Critical.
Appreciate you.
Yes, appreciate you.
It's a pleasure, to be here.
Yes.
Because this, being outside of, our home,
Yes.
being here, and Malcolm and Lisa, y'all show us nothing but love.
Nothing but
constantly,
love.
all the time, so whatever y'all, whatever, let us know. But it was an honor to be
Yes,
here.
thank you.
Especially with Mr. Monroe.
Oh, yes.
And then the next state rep.
Yes.
It's just an honor, man. Because so many of our, I'm still young here.
Yes.
It is. Because so many of our youngsters, get led astray.
Yes, yes.
And
Hey,
a lot of
Marco.
times they not even knowing that they are being led astray.
I agree.
But for us to be put in our positions, to help the community and help
Yes.
people that's in need, is a big plus, for the community, because the people that's in this room right now, are major spokesman for our communities,
Yes,
and that's
yes,
one
yes.
thing that we do need to realize, that we do have to come together no matter what the situation
Yes,
is.
sir.
It don't matter if we like he or she,
Yes.
we still gonna have to come together and resolve all of these issues that are going on within the community
Yes.
that are affecting our kids and our households,
Yes.
and anything else, that's going on around us. And salute to Mr. Monroe again, man, for
Yes.
staying on the front line, for everything you believe in,
That's
looking
right.
out for all our kids, our
Yes,
nephews,
yes.
Hey, shit, salute to you, man. Whatever you need, shit, let me know. We're gonna ride with you.
All right, Mr. Monroe.
I'm just Gerry Monroe, man.
Just Mr. Monroe.
I'm in the spirit of Fred Hampton. Am I a revolutionary? You can bet the house on it. I don't take no wooden nickels. All that fancy talking and all that begging, I don't do all that.
Okay, okay.
I come through the door with solutions to the problems. A lot of people will make every excuse in the world as to why you can't work with me. It's my delivery, it's whatever. Man, let's just solve the problem.
Yes.
Just solve the problem. So if you're an elected official, I'm going to hold you accountable.
Yes,
If
that's
you're a
fair.
local principal at a school, I'm going to hold you accountable.
That's fair.
If you're a business owner, I'm going to hold you accountable.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, I'm not in the business of being liked. I'm in the business of making money. So I really don't care what people say about me. I really don't care how you feel. And I appreciate you guys bringing me on the show.
Yes.
I think I did pretty good.
You did. You did an
didn't
excellent
curse.
job.
I didn't curse not one time.
No, you didn't.
Because I can hold that conversation.
Yes, you can.
Without
Yes, you
cursing.
can.
Now we can finish this conversation tomorrow night on my show.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna finish it tomorrow.
And y'all need to come
That's
to late night with Malcolm and Lisa.
Well, just let me know when we can come. But tomorrow
Yes.
night we can finish this convo on my show.
that's
Yeah.
right.
You know, we can say what we want and how we want to say it. But I appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Yes,
I just think as a people we have to wake up.
we do.
Before you can come together, you got
Have to wake up.
And you got to see what's really going on.
Yes.
The enemy is not them folk. The enemy is us.
I agree.
It's our leadership. That's what has us stuck in the dirt right now. It's our leadership. Because, just like he said, when I presented him as the leadership, I gave myself to him as the leadership. Oh, no, you weren't going to do that. Now I got to walk on the side of you. No, but you just said, just lead. Accept your leadership, understand who your leadership may be, and then just go from there.
Okay.
So, I appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Maybe one day
Miss
we can.
Jessica say you can come on her show. She's right after me, and they say you can curse on her show. She
Wait,
wants to.
on this show?
Yeah, she's on Tuesday nights right after my show.
Tonight?
No, her son is in ICU.
Oh,
what
okay.
about tonight, Miss
Well, tell her
Jessica? Can they stay
bring me on
tonight?
another show. I'd be
She
glad.
say bring him on another
I mean,
show.
but no, I can have the conversation without the cursing. No
Okay.
question. I did that tonight. So, I mean, I just want people to understand that some subjects are very near and dear to me.
Yes.
So, my passion is going to come out. Because I'm serious about this, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you under 25, staying alive is hard work. I done been to too many funerals in the last
Hey,
year.
for
I
real, that's
agree.
right. That's
You
right.
feel what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And I'm sick of it when I know these people have a
Get him
viable
on your
solution
shot,
to
Jaja.
slowing it down. So
I
thank
connect
y'all
you with
once
Mr.
again.
Monroe. Yes,
It's
thank you, Miss
always a
Monroe.
pleasure and an honor to represent my community.
And thank you. Oh, they said, I guess they said you can stay here because Carmen is here. Is Carmen here? Is she here?
I haven't seen her yet.
Okay, so we'll keep on, she said keep on going till Carmen get here. They go, what's wrong?
I think that juice got to him.
Oh, okay.
Juice got
All
to
right, they said, do y'all have time to keep going, Mr. Monroe?
I'm good.
Okay,
I have
what about you,
question
Malcolm?
for the
Hold on, what you
for the
say?
state rep.
Okay, hold on, let me see what Malcolm was saying. What were you saying, Malcolm?
I was simply saying that Mr. Monroe mentioned finishing,
Yes.
and we got here a little bit late
Yes, sir.
tonight, and I was curious, you know, from a latecomer, finishing what? I walked in late. I don't know the topic. What do we need to finish? And
We
try to
needed,
finish.
yeah, we were gonna talk about, sex trafficking and organ harvesting. Those are the last two topics that we needed to hear about.
Okay.
That's
okay.
it. Cause Jaja, they weren't having us on, but she said Carmen is there, but we
Oh.
can keep on going.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep on going. Thank you, Jaja.
Yeah, I have a question for state rep.
Future
yeah.
state rep.
No,
Well,
we're calling it into.
No, we don't want to
Yeah, yeah,
disrespect
yeah,
the
yeah.
current state rep.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're gonna
Well,
say future.
well, I
Okay, I
will.
understand.
Whatever.
Well,
you
within
want,
the
I
next
can
couple of
interview.
months,
Okay.
our new
And
state
she said
rep.
she wanted to interview you too.
I have
Jessica,
a
anyway.
a
Okay, I told her,
serious
Jessica.
question.
Carmen hadn't got here yet. As soon as she get here, we'll do
How
it.
would you go about
Yeah, please interview her,
keeping
Jaja.
our schools? Because we just had a issue with one of our co-hosts, our sister man over there at Street 100. Her daughter was raped
Oh,
in
God.
school.
Yeah.
To put you in office, what? And it happened
Oh, my
during your
God.
term. What would you do? What
I saw that on your
immediate
show. You
action
talking about the girl
would
got
you
raped
take?
At school.
You know, to
Did y'all hear that? A
to
girl
put hands
got
on this
raped at
issue and to
school.
prevent it from happening
Oh, my
to
God.
anybody else's child.
So the first thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna have to get behind Monroe and let him lead this
Yes.
fight.
And we'll support him.
When I'm looking at that, sometimes a leader has to know when to follow. And
I
that
have to
issue is
follow
I'll
that
have
one.
to follow Monroe
Yeah,
and
I
let
would have to
Monroe
follow.
tell me what actions that he believes that need to take place to rectify this issue. And the reason, hold on, and the reason why I say I would do that as a state rep, because sometimes we have to give power to those that can control the situation.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to control it until I got into session to make something law.
Yes.
So my thing is, as a state rep, I'll support him as a community member
Yes.
to go in here and fight, so he'll know that hey, I got some real soldiers
He
behind
got
me.
some people behind him.
So that's what I would do as a state rep, to let him know that you got a voice, and I'm here to support you.
Yes.
And I feel like that's where leaders are truly leaders, when they can say, I'm willing to step back and follow you. So that's what I would do as a state
And I'm in
rep.
agreement with
Hey,
you.
that's right. I agree with
actually-
that. I
I was
agree with that.
actually at the school last week with the mom.
And I heard you raised Cain.
No, I just kind of.
Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel.
Oh no, he just gave him a brief
First of all,
summary.
there's some dynamics of the case that don't make sense.
Right.
Mm.
This happened on a school campus.
Mhm.
So the first thing is why
Mm.
isn't the school police department investigating this, and they've already given it to an outside entity? You're not supposed to do that until the charges have been substantiated or unless they need additional help.
It starts with the campus police department.
Right.
Yes.
That's not been done. So that tells me you're already outside the scope of even trying to figure this out. You're not trying to do this the right way.
Right.
You see, we went in, they didn't want to talk about anything.
You gave them what, 48
except-
hours, right?
I gave them 48 hours.
48 hours.
So, you know, they 48 hours is up, so now it's time to light it up.
Right.
Come on
Don't
now.
say I didn't warn you.
Because you gave them
but
time
it
to
is
correct
what
it.
is. The best way to understand how to stop this stuff is you gotta hold people accountable
Yes.
for running these
Can
campuses.
I ask you a question though before
Sure.
you continue? My question is, how would you want a state rep to help you?
Well, first of all, at this point, if I'm where I'm at right now, I don't need a state rep.
Okay.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call in the muscle until I need the muscle.
Gotcha.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to stop doing what you're doing to come and do something that we can solve right now. I mean, first of all, right now, there needs to be some accountability.
Okay.
Yes.
See, your principal will say, well, I didn't know what was going on. It's your job to know.
Right.
This is your campus. These are your kids. When that first bell rings, these are your children.
Correct.
You have to be held accountable
Yes.
to these kids. I want you to think about it. If a kid walks onto a campus and that kid is assaulted or whatever happens and that kid ends up bruised up, they immediately should contact CPS.
You should.
Correct.
Now, I had a campus tell me, oh, we don't do that.
I was
Oh,
told
so
that
what
too.
you telling me, if my kids show up here bruised up, what's the first thing you gonna do?
Overlook it.
You gonna call CPS.
That's what you're supposed to do.
You see what I'm saying? So you gotta understand their rules and their policies to be able to make them move. Look, man, I'm the weatherman when it comes to education. When I walk in certain buildings, I change the forecast.
All right now.
That's all it boils down to. I'm not the dude to play with, man. When I walk in the building, the whole forecast changes. You know, it's a bright sunny day outside. It's 95 degrees, Malcolm, when I'm outside. When I walk in the building, it's like a storm cloud that came
All
over
right
the
now.
place. Because you know one thing, you can't run game on me like you run on these parents.
That's right.
I understand
right,
your
right.
system better
That's
than
right.
you. So at that point, I wouldn't need a state rep. Now, what I would ask the state reps to go do is go back and review the laws.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of what punishment could be assessed to the maximum extent.
Yes.
Anything like that that happens on a school campus, it should be a punishment to the maximum extent.
I agree.
The same way my other client is the kid from Worthing who was sexually assaulted
Yes.
by the substance, by the teaching assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
But what
assistant.
they didn't tell the DA, this was a full-blown special ed student.
Right.
So the maximum penalty should be assessed.
Right.
So we got to make sure we're going to court.
Yes.
Right now, we were talking about the young lady in Katy.
Yes. Yes.
She's already picked this kid out of a lineup.
Mm.
Okay, when you do the identification process through a lineup, and they've made a claim and they can pick him out the lineup, that's probable cause.
Yes.
Why hasn't he been arrested?
Exactly. Probable.
Probable
Because
cause.
you had no intentions of even messing with
Right. That's right. None
it. You
whatsoever.
see what I'm saying? You were going to
That's
sweep
right.
it under the rug.
Right.
That's
Yes.
right. Because if me or you was out right now, and any woman was to call a law and say, "Hey, he raped me,"
me
we
or
going
whatever.
to we're going to 701 right then and there. Ain't no ifs,
No
ands, and
question
buts about it.
That's when you going.
But
Yeah.
I also need people to understand, in order to make this fair, we have to understand the rules of engagement.
Yes.
It's going to take some mavericks, some young
Yeah, it
mavericks
is.
to go into
Yeah.
these political
Schools and all
positions
these
to get some
places.
things done, to change some
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Same rules that apply to white America should apply to black America.
I agree.
I agree.
The same urgency that you have for vaping, you didn't have for crack.
Yes.
Huh, exactly. That's
Exactly.
right.
Just because
That's
it didn't
right.
affect
It
them.
didn't affect
Didn't
them.
affect them. That's
So the
right.
same way that you would deal with a young white girl being raped in Katy High School
Yeah.
is the same way you should deal with a young black girl
Yeah.
being
That's
raped
right, Lanisha.
in Katy High School. But where the thing is let me tell you something. We're not like our ancestors. We're not like the people from the 50s and the 60s.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Because they would have been
No.
outraged.
Oh, hell.
They
They'd
would
have
have
put
shut
that
down.
down. Shut that whole
You see what
place
I'm
down.
saying? But we too worried about our Louis Vuitton
Hello.
Come
Yeah.
on now.
and our Gucci and our Prada
Yeah, yeah.
to say we ain't gonna go to work if something ain't right.
That's right. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you how coward we are as a people.
Stop calling people out.
No.
They got a problem.
Let me tell you
They
how
got a
coward
problem
we
with
are.
calling people out all the time.
You better stop
Now,
that.
I'm
See, that's why people don't like you now, because you're calling them
People don't
out.
like you, bro.
I'm just meeting Malcolm and watch it make sense.
Okay.
You
Wait
know why
for
we
it.
coward?
Let us know if he makes sense, Malcolm.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember?
Call in. I need y'all
Let
to
me
call
say-
in.
Anton, let me say my thing.
We don't want you to say it because you're calling people out.
Remember, when
I
the
know
ice,
it's 840 something.
when the,
Huh?
Y'all know it's 843.
Yeah. Oh, Jaja
They
said
took
that
over
was
somebody
fine.
else's
Is,
show.
is the girl, is Carmen here?
okay,
Oh no.
Okay, Jaja said
me-
keep.
That's something.
when the ice
We're
situation
gonna
first
shut it down.
popped off, the Latinos say we ain't going to work.
I remember. That's true.
Yep.
When they start killing us in the streets, everybody at work. We ain't finna miss a day of work.
All right.
Tell me I'm lying. You had Latino brothers and sisters losing their jobs. When the last time the black folks did? When they killed that boy Danny Ray up in Greenpoint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ain't
Why
nobody
we ain't
did.
stand up?
Yeah, ain't nobody did nothing.
When they
See,
killed the
that's the
lady up
thing.
in Baytown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why we ain't stand up? Let's take it back a little bit in Houston history. When they shot Ida Lee Delaney, two
Yes.
off-duty police officers, when we gonna stand up?
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna hip you out.
That's
All right. Come on,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Malcolm.
Now,
Mr. Malcolm got comfortable.
Mr. State Representative,
Uh-oh. I'm here.
Future.
Mr. Future, State Representative.
Yes.
I used to think just like you. Don't call us out like that.
I was just playing.
He just playing. No, he just
he was
playing.
cheering you on.
He was just playing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad he was
Oh
cheering you
no,
on.
we work
'Cause
together.
They
all
work
the time.
together.
Because
Yeah.
I'm cheering you on.
We all cheering you
We
on.
need
See-
calling out.
See,
Because-
the thing about me, Malcolm, that they don't like is one, they can't affect me. See, if they could mess over my job, they could probably silence me. See, the school system had that big lie going on that I threatened people.
Yes.
So, you know, they said, well, we're going to ban him.
You threaten them because you tell them the truth, right?
Eight months later, the judge say, well, I tell you what, Mr. Monroe, you got 1 more month to sit out. I'm going to let you sit at home. Don't worry about the board meeting. Cool. But I'm also going to tell you that what they said you can't say in a board meeting, you have the right to say it.
Freedom of
You have a
speech.
constitutional right to criticize public officials in a limited public forum, which is when we go to speak to them. So last night when I was in Refugio, the way I started off, I got a copy of my court order. And I can say whatever I want to y'all, and I can criticize you, and you ain't finna do nothing but sit here and eat this soup.
That's
All right, you say, eat
But
this
that's
soup.
wild.
So the problem with it is if it's law, then why do African Americans have a problem with bucking the law when the law ain't in your favor when you know it ain't right?
Because we're scared.
Yeah.
Scared.
Exactly.
Because we're scared.
We scared.
So get what I tell them people
It's
last night.
inbred. It's
Last
inbred in
night,
them.
we talking about the Dixie song, right?
Right,
That was a
right.
big issue in Refugio. I tell them people, I'm not scared of no police. Why don't
All right.
you tell a
Thank you
band
for coming.
to strike up NWA F the police?
That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now you know what? Man, this dude here, he's a radical. He's this.
That ain't
No, I
gonna happen.
No, I'm not. I'm just a fed up black man.
Yep.
And I'm sick of the game. I don't need nobody to lead me no more. I don't need you to tell me what to say no more. I'm tired of being passive when I walk through the door and get on my knees for these people that I pay taxes to.
Yeah.
Like I told them,
Good night.
if you don't want to hear my voice, it's a simple fix. Go get you a Crown Royal bag and put all my tax money in that Crown Royal bag, and I ain't got to come up in here no more.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm paying taxes, you're going to hear from me when there's a problem.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I can keep going in there and complaining, but when I walk through the door, I have solutions.
Yeah.
They know I have solutions.
Yep.
So the bottom line is, we got to stop faking like we in this to win this, man.
Yeah.
Straight up, for real.
Because honestly, a lot of us ain't in it to win it. They in it to win their money.
Their money. Yep.
All right, now.
Mr. Monroe,
Yes, sir.
it pisses me off. I'm sorry, lady. I'm
No,
sorry.
we're in the Jaja time, so y'all can say whatever now.
Wait, hold
Y'all
on a second.
Jaja time.
No, I ain't said nothing all night. Hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
Hold on one minute. Real talk with Lady Hale. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Critical, and my good friend who support me all the time, Mr. Gerry Monroe, and one of our owners at the station, Lisa and Malcolm, and my good friend Josh. Don't forget to make sure that you listen to POZ Impact every Monday from 7:30 to 9:30 and Real Talk with Lady Hale. And I want to thank all of my guests for being here. And we're going to the second half of the show. Mr.